I like the dance they do.
Go, shorty, it's your birthday. We gon' party like it's your birthday. We gon' sip and party like it's your birthday. And you know,
all right, that dance remind me. Okay, Marley, that dance remind me of the Ethiopian people. They got a dance called a kiska, and they do that with their shoulders and they ding. And the men do this dance, and it looks so good when they doing it with their little neck and stuff. I'm like, hey. And then this is at the Sudan that dance. I just think it looks good. That's all.
Happy birthday. And all the birthday little wishes coming and stuff like that for Miss Brenda. Seen Destiny, I seen Shaquan, I seen Molly say happy birthday.
To the chocolate child.
What does that make her? Either a Cancer or a Capricorn or something like that? For being after the 21st? Because you were a Gemini before the 21st.
Unfortunately, she's a Cancer. She a crab.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, crab.
Well, that's what my sister is, yeah. So
that's what my sister is too. Oh, crabby self. Her birthday July the 6th. My father is a crab. His birthday June 28th, which daddy will be 71 in a couple of days. And then my on the 26th, my niece and my nephew will be 20 Tyree 28 20 they be 28. I didn't figure out like what they be 28 turning 28. So VJ and Tania on the 26th is their birthday, and then on July the 6th is my sister's birthday. All little crabby people. I'm allergic to crabs.
There's a song that I know by John LaJoy, which is don't worry about going to watch it. It's bland, but it's humorous because it's bland, and only the first one, not the second one, because he does too much. But it ends with "Go shawty, it's your birthday. We gonna party like it's your birthday. I wasn't invited, but it's okay. I'll just stay at home and play some video games."
Right. Right now.
Yeah. We were invited. Right. We're here for her.
We're here for Brenda.
Yes, we here for
Brenda on a half a century.
Brenda, if I send you $10 on Cash App, will you show us your pretty face?
Brenda said no. Brenda said you got to send more than that.
Oh,
I ain't never seen
that more than that. Trey, you gotta go in with.
I've been talking to Icon for. Good morning, Charlie.
The radio. It's a real person is that AI.
Right, it's okay.
Oh, it's a party.
We don't even know if Brenda's real or if it's AI.
Brenda Brown. Okay. I ain't mad at it though. Yeah, happy birthday to everybody around this time. All the little Geminis and Cancers.
Not Geminis or the Cancer. It's Cancer season.
Yeah, well, Gemini season.
Happy birthday.
My mom's birthday was in this month as well, so I was mentioning her. She was before the Cancers came along. That's before the 21st.
Yes, so. The June month. My cousin my cousin Alicia. There's a whole bunch of little Gemini. Oh, darn it. And my cousin LJ, he'll be turning 16 on the 27th of June. Oh, my gosh. All of these little crabs. Ew.
That's amazing how you...
She said
ew. Not ew.
That's amazing how you can keep up with all the birthdays. Like, I'm just sitting here listening to you rattle them off, and I'm like, wow, okay. I can't remember, like I can't even remember my son's birthday, and I had him.
Erica.
But what? It's like this, the new generation, just like I used to remember stuff with numbers, really good numbers, phone numbers, birthdays, and all that stuff. But now you have the phone and the computers to take away from that. But I still try to strengthen that muscle and try to, keep it going, because one day you ain't going to, I can't remember what I had for breakfast yesterday, but I remember my long-term memory is better than my short-term memory. So that's the reason why.
Well, thank
Shoot,
you
I think
guys
when
for
you
all the birthday wishes, and thanks for the song, Molly. It is my birthday, and I thought it was gonna hurt when I woke up this morning, but I'm okay. I'm still here. Uh,
happy birthday.
Today's
Yeah.
topic, I don't know what is today's topic, but
Monday
thank y'all.
Madness.
Monday Madness. So the madness that it was, like, I'm just saying 24 hours, was that show last night. Madness, y'all. Oh my gosh. I looked back at the film and all I heard was "Rah, rah, squawk, 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 squawk." It's amazing when you take certain people out of the mix how it goes. Like, it was almost like, and this isn't a tribute to you, Destiny. It's almost like when I took you out, when you got out, it's like everybody looked around and was like, what do we do next?
Yeah, I was contemplating the answer there, but you saw me after the game. I with my camera on, I was sitting here playing video games, and guess what I was doing? I was killing zombies.
Killing zombies.
Yeah,
Well,
you're
there
like,
you
what?
see.
You don't
On the
want
duty, it sounds
aliens?
like.
I'm like, I want to take my anger out on something, and zombies sound like a great way to do that.
I like that accent. That's what get me.
That's the
Zombies.
Alabama. That's the Alabama accent.
Alabama.
I'm gonna think. Okay, Trey. What would you rather? Would it be the zombies, the world taken over by zombies, or the world taken over by aliens?
Shit, they already taken over by zombies. We trying to discover and find out what the aliens about. But I mean, I
We
don't know.
already got
Between
aliens.
the two, I think shit. I don't know, cause shit. I don't know. That's kind of a tough question.
You know what I mean?
Zombies. I don't feel like I'm ready for that. I don't feel like I'm. I don't think I'm ready for that kind of takeover because I live. My house is. Yeah, I got a couple levels to it, but it's right accessible to the ground level, so I don't have shit built up, no bob wires or none of that shit around here to keep shit out my house. So yeah, I don't know, Slim. I'd rather the aliens be here. I think because I
Aliens.
mean the population, the amount of zombies depends on the world population, so that's going to continue to keep going rapidly. Whatever they do to us, it's out of our league regardless. I feel like. I don't know. The
What
aliens. I'll take the
and
aliens.
Destiny picked the zombies because she got to take out her anger on stuff. And what did you pick out there? The aliens.
Hell yeah, I picked the aliens. Cause some of them damn people that you don't want them coming back from the grave because they was a mess when they was here. Let them rest in peace. Let them, you don't want them bothering you again. Just imagine somebody you can't stand and may they rest in peace or whatever. And you like, okay, let them rest in peace. You want to relive that again? Some of my exes that's no longer here with us. I don't want to deal with you again because I know y'all gonna be coming back to chew on my fat. And like Phil said, that they're gonna take all the fat people and put it on the front line anyway. Because by the time the
Yeah,
zombies finish
that's true.
showing all that fat, they ain't gonna want you no more. They be like,
Bless
you
you.
know what? We is just tired of chewing. And if you chew me, you're gonna be a zombie walking around with diabetes, high blood pressure. You gonna be dead. You dead gonna be dead again. They're gonna go out again. We're gonna kill you again.
I think I'm gonna go with the majority on this. I would go, like, I don't ever get to answer my own questions, but I would definitely go with the aliens simply because, like, I know there has been some, on TV and movies and stuff, the depiction of some creepy looking aliens, but the zombies I can't take. Like, that's just not even something my eyes can go, okay, Brenda, that's acceptable to live with. No, never will my mind say that's okay to live with. You can do that. But aliens, I've seen some depictions where they're not so creepy. I mean, they're like funny looking, but I think I can accept that better than the zombie thing.
And they might have a cure for you. And come on, think about it. We know some ugly people, right? So could you imagine a little ugly come back as a little ugly zombie? That's even worse. No,
I know
No,
some big
no.
ass people around me, so I ain't trying to have no big 6'5" person or whatever. One of my friends turning get
To a
zombified and trying to.
zombie.
I know
They
you
try to
got
eat
extra
you up.
strength. You extra big with extra strength. Nah, I don't. I don't need. Nah, I'm good.
But you know what?
Nah.
They be moving slow as hell. They fat people already move slow. Could you imagine as a zombie? People be
Yeah,
walking
but
around their daily life because they couldn't get them.
yeah, well, ain't nothing worse than food hitting your nose. You gonna find it. So something that smell good to you, appetizing you, hit your nose. You gonna find the source. So if I'm in my house trying to hide out, you gonna smell me out because I'm still alive. I'm good.
And
I'm
there's
good
gonna
off
be
of that.
some big ass zombies coming to tear you apart. You be like, I
Right,
can't push all of y'all people back. Y'all too heavy.
right. Shoot, Destiny said the government already admitted aliens are amongst us anyway, which is true. They
Well
already
then,
said
well
that
then, well
we
then the
don't exist
alien
by ourselves.
takeover will be just fine then. Come on, alien takeover. Look, fix this body, honey. Fix
Right.
this body, yaddy yaddy. Make me bionic. Give me
But
the
my thing
strength.
is, if they're alien, then we are too, because that's just a different, just a mass that we on, a land, a planet, or whatever you want to call it that we on. So there's no such thing as a alien. That's
And
just
so
foreign, to,
far as we know, the dead has not arisen. That's when you spiritual. When God gonna come back and deal with the zombies. As far as we know, we ain't worried about no dead has arisen. But aliens, okay, but I just don't want to deal with those. Like I said, people was jacked up when they was alive. Then you got to go through them again. That's hell. That means that we be put in hell because you got to deal with
they
jacked
ain't
up people
speaking to
all
you.
over again.
They ain't speaking to you.
Like
They ain't
All
got
the
nothing to
right.
Congress
say.
guy
Yeah.
that was like that everybody's like, oh shit, hold on, did they just admit that we have aliens? He referred to them. He said the US has been aware of non-human activity since the 1930s. And then somebody was like, do you mean aliens? And he goes, yeah. So we've had some non-humans since at least the 1930s.
Yeah, because they definitely slithering. That's some of the 1%. Some of those that you don't get to see on a regular, they're not in front of cameras. I feel like, you get to a certain level, you get access to shit.
I can't wait till they come back. I told the aliens, I need a chain. I need a chain. I need some jewelry. I need some stuff.
You telling the alien you want all gold this, all gold that. Okay. That's King Kiani.
You know what I mean?
And if there was a
Yeah, I need one of
zombie,
them
they'd
Venus.
be the first one to eat your little butt. They'd be like, oh, that's a snack. Kiani
You
be
ain't
like,
gonna eat me. I let them know I got more food supply for y'all niggas. What y'all need? I'm saying, what y'all need? I got y'all ninjas. What y'all need? I got you. I know to work with people. Yeah, I let them know I will not treat you different.
look,
We'll let them know
you
whatever
not
you
treat
need.
zombies different. They keep trying to bite you. You be like, I'm not gonna treat you different. Just
Yeah, yeah, I need a spaceship.
oh, you want the aliens? You want to tell the aliens I need a spaceship?
I need a spaceship. Yeah.
You gonna
They
throw
gonna
it
give
back
you
for
a
some space
Tesla.
wheels?
You said what now?
I said, you gonna throw it back for them space wheels?
That's it. You gotta have a good time. It's time to do that. What you call it? Independence Day Part 5.
Y'all crazy, crazy. Okay, so another Monday Madness thing. I said I was going to talk about it. I want to know how the rest of the panel feel about it. They have been taking our public tax dollars. You know, the tax is supposed to fund public schools, right?
Mhm.
So why are they taking our tax money, giving it to private schools? I have a problem with that. If that was the case, then we all should be able to afford a private school tuition. But how does private school get the tax dollars?
What is your source for
It
that?
shouldn't.
What did you find it
If
on?
I have to pay,
It was
like
on
my friend has to pay
National
100 and something a month for her daughter to go to a private school that she didn't actually want her daughter to be in. Her daughter's father put her in that, and she had to just go with it. So 100 and something dollars a month per child.
That ain't nothing. 100 and something a month. Try 2,300. Riverdale Baptist was 1,600 a month, something like that. per
So where did you
child.
say you found this at first for
It was
for
on
you
the
to be
news.
given?
It was last week on the news, and I was trying to hold off to it, wait till Monday
Mm.
Madness. Destiny, if you could Google that for me, but I'm pretty, news don't go away.
Yeah,
Not your assistant.
Riverdale. It is
Not your assistant.
Riverdale Baptist School in Upper Marlboro. You talking about that one, right?
Yeah, it's cost more than a couple of hundred to go there.
Yeah,
So
I think so. I thought it was $10,000 for the year. I thought they told me because Malachi was gonna go there. I think he said 10. He said you get a MacBook, the kids, all the NBA player kids go there, and baseball players and stuff like senator kids and stuff. So she was saying like the MacBook, you get a MacBook and you get 101 and it's a whole bunch of great amenities, but it's $10,000 for the year.
what's the complaint? I'm
Riverdale
trying to
Baptist
understand.
School's tuition is approximately $13,776 per student.
Okay,
Wow.
so what's the problem? It's a private school. I'm trying to understand. I'm not being
Listen,
No,
funny.
the problem is that if the
Maybe-
state is getting money for schools, they should be giving it to the schools that don't have that crazy amount of funding from every single student. The schools that it's a public school, you can just go there. They're not getting thousands of dollars per student. They're there.
Okay, they're taking taxpayers' money and giving it to private schools. That's
Yeah.
the problem.
And the school already got
Taxpayer
money.
and they're closing public schools. Okay, that's the problem right there. The taxpayer money's not going to the taxpayer; it's given to the elite. The elite, they already got money. That's why they
Yep.
can afford the private school. But you going to tell me that my child can't go to that private school, but you going to take my taxpayer money and give it to that private school? That's wrong, and on so many different levels. And the public schools are lacking so much. And they're closing public schools and they're lacking for funding for this and that. Are you taking the taxpayer money, giving it to the private? No,
So what do you suggest gets done about that?
they can't do it. There's a law that said that they're not supposed to be doing that. Those are separate. I don't know how they're getting around with doing that, but they need to figure that stuff out.
Well, what do you suggest that the parents and stuff do? Like, who do you suggest they go to? Or what do you
Come
do?
together. First, they got to be aware. They got to know why their school is closing down, why they only have adequate funding, because someone's taken out of the till and the money is being allocated somewhere that it shouldn't be. First, you got to make yourself aware. Then you got to execute some type of cause and effect. Recover that money back, get that money back into their school. Go to them school board meetings, go to the PTA meetings. You got to be active, proactive. For if you care about your child's future in education, because they're closing public schools left and right, and we already know that public schools get the least funding, the least of everything. But that's a slap in my face.
Well,
devil's advocate here. I know that we all, tend to say that, wealthy people don't pay taxes. And I'm here to say they probably pay a lot less than we do. However, at some point in time, they still pay taxes too. Devil's advocate, you're taking their tax money and putting it towards public school because they're a part of the federal funding, right? Everybody's taxes go into one pot. So what if they don't want their tax money to go to the public schools that their kids aren't using?
Mm-hmm.
They already do that. They pay
I do
tuition.
like that analogy.
They pay tuition. Then my child should be able to go to their school if you're taking my tax dollars.
Well, you're
anyone with the tax break.
Well, here's the thing. It's a choice. They're actually paying twice. They're actually paying their state tax or whatever it is, but they're also paying on top of that money to go to the private school. So they're paying twice. They're paying their tax money and they're paying their
that's by choice. If we took away private schools, they choose to pay extra for that. So that's by choice.
For the resources so that they're paying for that because they want that and they put themselves in a position to get that. So I can't blame anybody for that part.
I would love for my child to have a stellar education. I would love for my child to have enough supplies that they can last out the whole school year. But instead, private schools get their MacBooks, they get this, they get that. They can
But you're
afford
not
their
paying for that.
uniforms.
Where do you expect that they're paying for it? You can't expect what you're not paying for.
But they're paying for it, but they're also taking the taxpayers' money.
They being greedy.
You don't know what your tax money goes to anyway. You don't look. The average person is not looking into that or researching that. They're not like, oh, where's my tax?
Private school,
but the
where they're
second
closing down public schools.
The second people find something out, then they want to be in an uproar, but they weren't looking into that in the first place. Nobody gave a shit about where they didn't want extra tax money coming out their checks and stuff every 2 weeks and all of that. But nobody was looking into what it was going
They didn't know why the schools are closing. They still don't have an answer. What happened to the fund for the public schools? Why are we closing public schools? Why is that?
All of these people were involved in all these people were already involved in the communities and the school boards and all of those things, and nobody gave. So they just closed it one day. They just did, because there's lead ups to doing things like closing schools in cities and stuff like that. So all these people were involved.
Budget cuts. When the budget,
I'm just saying
there are a lot.
Go ahead, Destiny.
Sorry. There are a lot of things that play into that. And we could go ahead and throw out the obvious that we all know, that teachers don't really get paid enough. Therefore, less people are going to school to be a teacher. Less teachers are available. That kind of jazz. If you can't fill a school with teachers, then likely you're not going to have a school for those teachers, and those teachers go elsewhere. So that's very unfortunate. But something as in the direction of what your taxes are used for. If they are going to use your taxes for anything extra, just like with schools or with your roads or with your city and all of this, there's supposed to be some kind of public meeting that individuals can attend to vote yay or nay. Now, right. I will say that if a politician thinks that it will work in their favor, they might not involve you at all. Even here in Chickasaw, which is a nice little retirement area, whenever they wanted to have our voting on if our taxes were going to be used to put more guns in the possession of the police, like we have a tank now, but we weren't invited to that. We weren't invited to participate in that. Yeah, it's not a tank. It's similar to a tank. It's gigantic. I have pictures of it somewhere, but it's ridiculous, and we don't need that. But we weren't invited for the session where they voted on that. Mm-hmm. But whenever it came to, we're going to use your tax dollars to go towards our schools, and we're probably going to use them also to raise the land taxes here and put that towards that, and we're going to use those taxes to work on the everything else. I was like, man, this is going to make my rent go up. This is not good. There was nobody downtown voting. I made a post. I was like, if you own land or own your house or anything here in Chickasaw, you need to go check this out, because they want to put some towards our schools, but they want to take a lot away from us, and y'all need to go up there and vote, because nobody was up there. And I don't know if it was my post on the Chickasaw Talk board that made more people go up there or what, but they ended up doing the smaller one for the schools and not the gigantic one that they were going to take out specifically for, yes, they typed it up as like restoration, but I mean, they can't even restore a road properly here. So it's like, what are you talking about? All you're going to do is make land taxes go up. And I didn't want that. Nobody else wanted that. They had not even mentioned that before. You didn't know that it was a thing until you got there and you read it. So some of the tax situation has to do with, are you going to the city's meetings? Are you paying attention to that?
I have a question when you're done. I have a question when you're done. Okay. I didn't want to cut you off at all. I wanted to ask, thank you. I wanted to ask, are people really willing to go through what they need to go through to homeschool? And I know we already know about the ability to be able to afford to be able to do so, but that's a whole another thing within itself. We can't complain about what somebody, you can't complain about how your pimp treats you. I'm talking about the system, talking about the government. You ain't gonna ask your pimp what he's doing with the money that you're giving to him. He's not gonna tell you. So he might give you some little things that make you see that, that new road they just built, that new little library or something they just put up, or that grocery store, or whatever. He might give you some little things to show you that, hey, that this money's working for us, but no, it's not. So my thing is, are people willing to go through the necessary steps? Because I don't see enough of us reading and even like obtaining enough information to even be in a position to homeschool at all at the slightest. I don't know people. I know a few of them that are homeschooling, but very few people have the space to do so. So what do
Yeah,
we do about it when we know?
it's not just a space. It's also like, do you have, like, if you're a single mother, you can't, most of the time, I mean, I'm sure there are loopholes here or there, but the majority of the time, you don't have
Hey,
the
mama,
time to homeschool your kid. You gotta, what's up, Shannon? You
that's
gotta
my
go to
mom.
work and
Mhm.
then work. That's your mom?
Yeah, that's my mom.
He just gave you a shout out. Happy late birthday.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, it's hard to work and homeschool your kid.
yeah,
That's a serious thing right there. And some states do offer incentives, like they'll help pay. Illinois, Indiana, Louisiana, Ohio, and Minnesota will pay you to homeschool your child. But that's it. What I said? Did I
yeah,
say 5 out of 50?
yeah. So if you don't, you short if you don't live in those places because you have to be able to make the money, and that's a part of the system. So we talking about this, that's a part of that. So that's one of the limitations that they try to really instill in your life. I mean, make you grow up on, make you. We talk about brainwashing and programming and all that. You're programmed to be this way. You're meant to be stuck. You're not meant to have a whole variety or a big allotment of time to just think and explore and start a business and get residual income coming in. That shit ain't happening like that. So that's my thing. We complain about the school system, and we know what the government, we know what is supposed to be done for us, but like I said, your pimp ain't gonna talk to you too much about what that money that you're giving him is doing for you or for y'all or nothing like that. You ain't gonna ask him no questions. So why do the same thing with the government? Because it's the same thing.
Yeah,
But
they're gonna
Like,
do whatever
we
benefits them.
we know what it should happen. We know what we want for our kids. We know what we want for our communities. We know these things are shutting down, but as we see these tables turning, can we afford to go against that grain and not have your child submitted to those school systems that are failing us
well,
and do it ourselves? Which is we
well,
want
if
to,
we
but we
don't
know.
trade, that's that we did the gun violence thing over the weekend. If
Hmm.
we don't invest in our children or go get acclimated, I don't even have kids in school, but I'm in the uproar of this. My son is out of that. But if we
Yeah.
don't get a hold and get a hold to these babies and steal it back from the system and do something, then we can't complain about the jacking. We can't complain about the car theft, the stealing, the killing, because we're allowing this to happen. We're just going to sit back and say, take our kids, do whatever you want with these little fragile young minds.
This
I
is
mean,
one of the topics that I really love because even though I don't have kids in school anymore, I remember when my son was in school, and I remember I was so afraid that he wasn't going to graduate. I thought he was going to get to the finish line and something was going to happen. And so I think the closer that he got to the finish line of graduating, the more extreme my behavior as a parent became. Because it was not only he was going to make the goal for him, he was going to make the goal for me, right? Because I'm raising him as a single mom. So I did not want him or I to be another statistic, right? So I was like, no, we already done raised you with no father. You already a black man. Strike, 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 right? We're going to get to the finish line. I think
Mhm.
more parents out there, and hear me when I say this on my half of a century birthday, parents, mommies, and daddies need to take more interest in the well being of the raising of their children at home rather than going out and working a million hours so that they can have a nice home, a nice car, the latest Jordans. If it takes you to sit at home on welfare so you can teach your child and make them contributing, adult, consider that. Like, is it really the child's needs that you're out there striving 120 hours a week for, or is it your needs that you're out there striving 120 hours for? And are your children suffering because you want to wear the latest Jordans?
Well, what can we do? My question to you, Miss Brenda, what can we do to network more and number one, trust each other? And I'm speaking in Destiny. You are not you're not
Well,
exempt from
you
this
just
conversation at
answered your
all.
own.
But as far as like
You just
people that are
answered your own
melanated people, we
question.
got an issue trying to work together to get things
You
leveled up.
just answered your own question. Trust each other. Back in, I can actually say this now. Ouch. Back in my day, I'm sure Althea
Okay.
and some others are with me. Back in my day, I was getting my ass kicked from the neighbors,
Mm,
right? Like if I was out there doing something, caught me stealing, or I'm out of school and I'm supposed to be in school, I'm out doing anything I ain't got no business. I'm getting 3 ass whoopings. I'm getting one from the neighbor that caught me. I'm getting one from my mama. And then when my daddy get home, I'm really in for it.
that
Right.
part. Yeah.
So it
The
took
fear
the
is strong.
trust that I'm not going to hurt your child. And I think there's too many weird people out here that will hurt your children.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
why you don't trust nobody.
Yeah.
But find a community of folks you can trust to help raise your children. Because I told my son, what I told him is, listen, if you can't do your part in this relationship, which is go to school, stay out of trouble, get your education, do what's necessary, come home and don't
Reasonable
burn the
things.
house down, I will quit my job, get on welfare, so you really have something to talk about at school. And I will let everybody know I'm on welfare so I can sit at home and babysit you, since you can't do it right.
So
And
can
my
we?
son, my,
Oh, go ahead.
oh, uh, the outcome to this was my son signed himself up for his 9th grade year. After 8th grade, I never had to go to school to sign my son up for school. He did it himself.
That part. I mean, how can we start to get I just want to get some more like residual income in the mix, some like trust each other, a lot of those core things to get back to thriving businesses because yes, you still have to work when you have a business, whether it's online or whatever it may be, you still have time that you have to spend to that, but your time is worth more. And that's one thing that I'm getting a little bit tired of. I'm too young to be tired of it, but in this rat race is trading my time for money that is just enough to just just do not too much
You
to be
gotta
honest. Just like this.
prioritize. Young
Yeah.
people who are raising children nowadays, their priorities lie in a nice house, a nice car, so they can walk around and say they made it, instead
Yeah.
of my priority is being able to tell my friends I have a son that makes more than me now, and makes more than me, or makes more than I made when I was his age. So
Mm.
like, he's doing it. He's
Power
out
to
there.
him. That's what I
He
like to
got
see.
it
Power
going
to him.
on. I'm like, go baby. I mean,
Yeah.
more than zero is not hard to do, but
Yeah.
still.
I
I would
feel you.
rather say I have grandbabies and I have a son that's been married for 20 years. Like, those are the things I like to say. So that's how I raised him.
That's what's
And
up,
more
though.
people have to get their priorities straight. Is a nice car and a nice house and all the finer things in life worth the well-being of your kids?
You're right
You
about that.
know, that's saying a lot, because I know some families who give their children everything, and the child still turns out and act like a nut roll, and like they'll rob, they'll steal. I'm like, why are you stealing and doing that when you did
They're
not
giving them
ask
everything
for
but time. They're giving them everything but time.
it? And they just, because you giving them, not making them earn for stuff. I mean, and they feel that they're part of the title.
But
Male, whether it's male or female, they feel that they give me what I asked for. I asked for this, give me, give me, give me. Instead of, like, and I'm guilty of it too. It was the people of the crack epidemic, they're that age, and they gave birth to these kids, which is their grandkids that's out here wilding out, because it's something was lost in the generation, and that's where I can see where the
mm,
breakdown started. when we got engulfed in drugs, when it came, and we didn't
Thank
care
you
about
for
our
mentioning
kids.
those
They
things.
cared more about getting the next high, the next bump, or whatever. And then the kids moved further and further, and they started raising themselves. And then this is this product that you got now, because it's the grandkids of the 80s that's out here running, like, because that's where the disconnect. Because I said then I was like, where is the disconnect? And what generation? What's the lost generation? Where do we lose it?
That turning point.
We lost it in the 2000s. We lost. That's where we lost it at. And Molly, put your question back up there. I was getting ready
so we can
to
read
it.
that. I was going to read it too. Yeah.
It always been like this. Beginning of time, there always was some crazy shit going on. To me, think about it. The world is crazy because all the old people cut the food. I mean, that's why the law is what it is, and the movies and TV shows. It's the old people, the young people. You know, we coming into it, but everybody, daddy was drunk, the granddaddy was drunk. The world order is old.
Yeah.
So it's not the young, it's the old people that messed it up for us.
And keeping it that way, really, because they still control that stuff.
Yeah.
Molly Robinson says we take credit when our kids do good, and we look to blame others when things go bad. Why is that? My very quick answer to that is we're not willing to take the blame. Like, there's no accountability in the parents. Like my son, he was calling me grandmama. I kid you not. At 10 years old, my son was like, grandma, mama. And I hit my son in his mouth one day for saying it because I was so mad at him. I was like, I am your mother. And I hit him in the mouth, and he cried, and the look in his eyes was like, well, motherfucker, act like my mother and I wouldn't be confused like that.
Right.
That was the look. And since that day, I felt so bad, and I apologized to him over and over again because he was right. If I was doing my job, he would know who I was. There would never be a question. Like, I know who Althea is. I know who Trey is. I know who Destiny is. If I was doing my job as his mother, he would never get the two mixed up. So I made it from that day to his age now to get him together on who his mama is. So parents out there in the world, take your responsibility for, when your children do good, yes, you celebrate. I celebrate a lot less because sometimes I look at my son and I have already taken my hands off the steering wheel. So whatever he is doing right now, he is doing himself. There is no mama power behind that engine, right? He is hauling it up the hill himself. What?
And on the other hand of that, what you just said, when our children do good, what they're supposed to do, these soft kids, that because we celebrate even what they're supposed to do, you don't get a birthday party treat for you doing what you're supposed to do. That's what I don't understand. That's for example, I heard people say in sports that all the athletes, whether they win or not, everybody get a trophy. What are you giving them for? That's why the young kids expect to get just because they're there. Oh, you got to give me just because I am. You treating them and giving them rewards for them to do what they're supposed to do. When you go above and beyond, your job don't give you no raise for you doing the bare minimum. You're doing what you're supposed to do. When they look into advance, you don't get them when you're just doing what you're supposed to do. Granted, do what you're supposed to do, staying out of trouble, good.
But you're right. You're right. On your birthday, if you did something bad, you'd be jumped.
Or our kids, it's so soft with them for doing what they're supposed to do. So if we give them, you went to school today? Yeah, let's go to friend, let's go celebrate. Oh, you went to the next grade? Yay! If we
Can I ask a question? Before Molly plays his next video, because he did tell us in a private chat that he has one queued up that he's been waiting to play.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't. Well, of
Oh
course.
no, I know you. I know you're not looking at nothing that small. It's us that's interacting with the text. That I know. I know what your thing with your eyes and stuff like that. I ain't gonna. That's too
I
much
go get my
for you to be
shots
looking at
tomorrow.
that. That's
So
for us. That ain't gotta worry about the shots and stuff. We can look at the small text. But I'm just making you mindful. That's what he said. But I got a question though, because I want to know about the family members, parents, whatever that take away from those kids too. Because I've had situations where I remember, and I don't know if it's just a humorous thing between parents, like, oh, you don't really know my child or whatever, but why do some parents take away from compliments that or things that other people say to the, because if somebody says, oh, your child does this so well, your child is so whatever, and I've seen parents go, mm. So what does that mean? So
jealousy.
Well, that's a negativity. Over here in the comments I typed up, parents are a very matter of fact. It's a my way or the highway kind of relationship. At school we have influences that are a different way, and maybe we appeal more to that way for some kind of satisfaction. But when you choose a way that isn't your parents' way, it's like you chose the highway. And that's how a lot of parents are. You have to be the way I am raising you to be. But we also have them in public schools and other schools where, and you should, to help your child develop the communication skills that they need as an adult. But in doing that, we introduce them to other people's way of doing that. And then whenever a child does something that's wrong, whatever their reason may be, the parent will immediately say, that's not the way that I was raising you, therefore that wasn't me.
yeah,
Okay, I can see it like this. As far as it's my way or the highway for parents, my thought and my theory to my son was always this: learn how to drive the car, period, first, right? And then once you learn how to drive the car, period, first, then you can start with the gangster lean and driving with one hand and
and getting
driving with
relaxed.
the music loud and
Yeah,
driving 5 miles over the speed limit. But don't try to do that straight out the gate,
yeah,
because I, as your parent, know that these are all extra things that will make you
good
crash and
analogy.
hurt yourself. And
Good
not only
analogy.
yourself, but maybe me too and some other folks, right? So, right now, while you're getting the hang of this thing we call life, do it this way that I know works, that I know is safe, that I know, I done tried and tested all the bumps. And then once you learn it this way, then you can create it your way. Like I just found out my son doesn't want to go the corporate world way. I thought he did. I thought he was trying to climb his way up the corporate ladder. My son was like, "No, mom, I see what you do, and that lets me know I can chase my dreams." He's like, "I'm just working here, but I want to do art and I want to do what I want to do." And I was like, "Go ahead on, little boy. Go
That's
ahead.
what's up.
Make
That's
your
cool to
mama
hear
proud."
that.
That's you being a
Yeah,
supportive mother. That's
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Yes, and
I'm
that's
glad
all
for
I'm
that.
saying. But when he was under 18, there was no "go ahead, boy, do it your way." No, there was "do it this way so that I know me and you can make it through this.
I can
Um,
respect it.
I got a
and
video. Molly, go ahead and play the video. I don't want to get too far past the video because I know y'all could talk.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what I consider to be substance on subject matter versus like rambling. It's not. I think everybody's saying very constructive things. That I think Brenda was just cut off on what she was getting ready to say.
Yes, she
Kiani as
was.
well.
Just like you
But
get ready to get cut off. Molly played the video.
oh wow, okay. If you don't have anything to add to the subject matter, it's okay, and we can help you feel better about that. But don't be rude.
No, the video.
Yeah, I know, but you're being rude because yeah.
Trey,
Come on. But go ahead and play the video because I'm the
thank
one that
you.
mentioned that there was the video to play. So
I
this
know,
is
thank you. That's right. And,
yeah,
and I said, Molly play the
yeah,
video.
right.
You're laughing. Thank y'all, guys.
Mm-hmm.
is it playing? Uh-oh. It's not playing.
Molly playing with the baby.
Well, we probably talked so long it froze. That's okay. It'll come back.
Right.
But see, in this moment, now that I got a chance, I can finish up what I was saying, and all Molly got to do is pop the video back in there, and I'll shut up. But parents, take responsibility for your kids, please. Like, if it's not working the way you're doing it, like, take some accountability and try something different. That's all I'm saying.
Something I do with my daughter is that instead of saying this is what you have to do, I'm not a very because I said so kind of parent. It's if she wants to do something, I'll say, all right, well, listen to me for a second, and I explain the options of what she's wanting to do, whether it's 2, 3, and the likely outcomes of those situations, and I let her choose which option she wants to take. So my 9-year-old understands better than a lot of adults that there are consequences to your actions, and that if you choose something that has a consequence, you have to deal with your own consequence.
Mm-hmm.
And see, I'm on the other side. I do the consequential thinking, but I teach him how to do it himself. I don't need to explain the things that will happen. You need to think about the things that will happen. If I do A, what will happen? And give yourself 3 alternatives of what will happen. And then if you can deal with all 3, go ahead. If not,
I tell Malachi, listen, I'm gonna pray with you first. I'm gonna give you my input. If you mess up, you either getting a Kurt Franklin yelling or a Bruce Lee kick. Which one you want?
Because they both work.
And he said, Dad, neither. And I said, okay, and he better listen then. So he know. I don't play around. He know it.
Wait a minute, did you say Kurt Franklin yelling or Bruce Lee kick?
He sure
Yes.
did.
Yep.
Sure did.
and I'm with all of them. You know, people are like, oh, corporal punishment. Oh, don't hit your kids. You know, this sort of stuff. And I understand where they coming from because maybe some kids can't take it. I get it. But mine, listen, my son told the officer that brought him home one day see the video. Come on, Molly.
Yep, we ready for you, Molly.
And it's spinning, it's winning and it's spinning. We should make like a morning song about
The
buffering.
Morning Mac show, like song. That'll be dope.
It's the Morning Mac show.
Had a little scene changes like them TV shows back in the 90s and all that. Everybody doing something different and they drink when they slide by.
What is going on with the world? Okay, well, you know what? Sometimes Betsy Jr. does that to me. So I totally feel you. Yep, Betsy Jr. be like, I don't want to do it though. And I'm like, but
technology do be like that sometimes. Technology is like that.
It's temperamental. It's sometimes it is.
You didn't say it. StreamYard do be having issues, so ain't no problem, Molly. Ain't no thing.
You know, I had a guest actually that I sent the link to, and he says, well, I had to log in with my Facebook or whatever you have to do to get in. He goes, I'm not entering my information into some random website. I'm like,
those are the people that don't know nothing.
I'm like, you could have just said no. You could have just said no. I don't want to be on your show, and I would have been okay with that. Like I don't want to put my information into some random website. Like, dude, StreamYard is the least of the randomnesses of websites that you see. I'm like, oh my God. Okay.
Ones, I guess, you know, one of the most credible ones you can work with, you know, as opposed to we ain't asking for your SSN. We just want to verify that you are you. That's all we're trying to do. What's up, funny man?
Okay, that's what I was looking at. But I was like, wait a minute, is that David Green?
Oh yeah, he came in. I forgot to say like, what's up? So what's up, funny man? I'm sorry.
Oh, what's up? What's up? Happy birthday, Brenda.
Happy birthday, Brenda.
I thought you didn't send me an invite this time. I thought it was because
I did send you an invite. Look on your phone.
Yeah, she doesn't send. She don't send them through messenger like normal folks. She send it through text message. And the only reason that I know she sent it is because Molly sent me a copy of the show while it's playing. And I was like, oh, okay, she must have sent me the link. It's all dependent on how you read your social media. But back to my subject, be an all-encompassing parent. If the situation takes a foot in the like a kung fu kick, like Mr. Edible Bong said, go ahead and kung fu kick them. If it takes a Kirk Franklin yelling, go ahead and get your stomp on. Like
What's the
you,
Kirk Franklin yelling?
It's yelling with love. They
Mhm.
ain't yelling during gospel music. They yelling about some, love.
if you think you ground and put your on the ground.
Hands together.
Shut
Hands
up.
together.
Shut up.
This is Kirk Franklin.
Come on. It's like an inspirational yelling. It's
Oh,
like
Yes.
right.
it's like a
Mhm.
get it together. Like, okay, this time nothing bad happened, but get it together. Like, I'm
Come
not
on,
gonna
black parents.
right. I ain't
Y'all
gonna
about to
punish
explain
you,
that.
but like wake
Yeah,
up.
because
Like
I didn't get the Kirk Franklin. I got the Bruce Lee chops. You know, you didn't get time to yell. Whoop! You be like, oh, I must have said something wrong.
You got to. You got to put a little bit of fear in their heart, just a little bit. Let them know if I don't do it, God gonna do it. So either way, it's
Yeah,
gonna
that fear
happen.
gotta be. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I
You're right about
100%
that.
agree with that.
That fear has
Definitely
Yeah.
to happen.
You want somebody trying to cut you out? They bigger than you. No, I ain't going for that. I'd knock you down. You know.
That's why I told a story at 9 years old. Tyree's like 9 or 10. I had to choke him out in his sleep so he could think that I was crazy, that I would hurt him. That's a real story. I choked the hell out of my own child.
Oh my God.
Right. Trying to get him where he couldn't get you. That's what it was.
my
Damn.
son
know
had
it.
gotten he had grown taller than me because of course I prayed him over 6 feet tall. So he was quite a bit taller than me. So he figured he was going to tell my mama what he was going to do. And I told my mother, because he had a doctor's appointment, I said, when he come home from school, tell him to stay home. So when I get here, we can go to the doctor. I came through the door. I looked at my mom and I said, well, where is he? And she said, oh, he told me he had people to see and places to go. I told him you said
wow.
stay home. Okay. When he walked through that door, I can't remember exactly what happened, but I'm pretty sure it ended up with me like with his neck in my hand. I was so upset. Not that he did it, but because like my time, right? I had gotten off work early to take him to the doctor. If everything had worked out, I could have took him to the doctor and got back to work on time. When he wasn't there, he messed my whole day up. And I was like, you gonna learn today. When I say something, I don't care how big you are. When I say something, that's what's gonna happen. And so parents out there, I'm not saying like abuse your kids, and I don't even know why I'm quantifying. Those of you out there who know how to work with your kids, work with them. I had the officer actually bring my son home when he got caught throwing rocks, or he was with the boys who was throwing rocks. And he begged the police officer to bring him home and explain to me what had happened so that I would not get in his ass. And the police officer looked at him and said, you know, she can hit you at least 3 times. And yes, I can hit him on his behind 3 times before it's considered child abuse.
Do they tell you what kind of weapon you can use?
Yeah, what
it has to be with your open hand on their backside.
Oh, no punching them in the butt cheek. Gotcha.
Wow,
right.
Man.
However, I can wet my hand and and pull them pants down and get 3 good ones in.
That sounds
Yeah,
painful
but
for you both.
and that sounds limited to a certain age range anyway. After I'm 6'3", I'm looking at you like, what do you think you doing?
That's
You
why
might
you need to
I
be
have a
looking down the barrel
question.
of a gun.
Yeah.
You be or a tase gun. I had a stun gun, and my son was scared because I was like, and it disappeared. I
Oh
think my child
no.
did something with it.
She said, "I'll tase your ass."
Well,
I
Like,
did because indeed I
that
did.
Antoine Fisher story. I ain't messing with that.
after they get a certain age, like I started raising him on shows like George Lopez and what is it? Everybody Loves Raymond and what is that? My Wife and Kids,
Yeah.
Blackish. I started making him watch those shows. And then I started doing the same things they were doing to their kids on the show. I would do to him.
Can you give us an example, ma'am?
Oh yeah. Like one time he said, okay, so on My Wife and Kids, there's an episode where the kids say, we can take care of ourselves. If you didn't give us no rules, we don't need you telling us what to do. We can take care of ourselves. So Michael Kyle, the dad, said, okay, I will give you guys the next 3 days with no rules. And if you can take care of yourself for these 3 days, I will limit some of your, rules.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he stopped feeding them, and mom was away. So mom's out on vacation. So dad stopped feeding them. He stopped waking them up for school. He stopped giving them extra money to go to the, popsicle truck or the concert or whatever it was. Stop eating out. And then the kids were like, okay, so what's for dinner? And he was like, well, anything that you can find in the refrigerator. Well, most rich people, I guess, or people who can afford food have mostly frozen food. So the kids don't know how to do it. So they eventually crack. And I did the same thing to my son. I was like, okay, you don't want me telling you what to do? Go for it. Do you? If you can survive, I'll lift your curfew.
That's a good life lesson.
Second day out, he went and got in the car with some kids who stole the car from their family. And the family member called the car in, and he was about to go out there and get in the car. And the police had followed the kids to our neighborhood for them to come pick my son up. So basically, they're all sitting out there on the curb with their hands up, because with the police standing over them in front of my window. And my mom said, aren't you going to go out there and get him? I said, nope. No,
Right.
I'm
Nope.
not.
Nope. I let you sweat it off a little bit.
Right. I'm going to stand here and make sure they don't shoot him or beat him up. But other than that, he's grown, he said to me. So therefore, when he got out of that, he was like, okay, mom, I get it. Okay, I know,
Good
mom.
job. Now we can work on this together, like you said.
Right.
What's up, Molly?
Yeah, I give up. This video tripping. I keep trying to get it to play.
Well, what was the video about? Maybe we can just keep talking about the subject of the video or something.
It's a poor.
Come on. It's gonna play this time.
Back at room better be clean. Am I on me?
I've so been here before.
Or they would call this shit like, hey man, you big enough to get hit. And I don't know what's worse. I just know the second time she hit me, she didn't like something I said and pushed me off a bar stool. I got up, she swung, I blocked, she grabs a knife, I fight it from her hands, push her back, but she claims I put my hands on her, and I don't know what to call it. I mean, I would call it self-defense, but who would let me call it that? And I would call it domestic violence, but who committed the crime when people can only relate to predators when they are drenched in fangs and claws and toxic masculinity, and no one ever acknowledges the beast that cry to lure in their prey. And I don't know what's worse. I just know every time I tried to leave, she would take everything. Cell phone, car keys, laptop, held me hostage to her hostility till I caved to her cries. I just know she would spend all my money and then use hers to go on trips by herself and say shit like, I didn't feel like paying for you. I just know anything ever bought for my benefit was used as a weapon of manipulation, and I don't know what to call it. I mean, I would call it financial abuse, but who the fuck has even ever heard of that? And who can relate to that when people only see men as societally based as worth what they can provide? And I don't know what to call it. I just know that if my people perish for a lack of knowledge, then I die inside every time I try to explain something I can't name. Because no one can call it that. They would call it shit like, hey man, you too big to be getting hit. Or they would call it shit like, hey man, you big enough to get hit. And I don't know what's worse. I just know that.
I know. Where did that come from? Because that's on point.
Right.
That's one of the questions I was going to ask, actually. Is why do parents and when y'all try to lash out and hit us and all that? That's when I was, I guess, younger, but you know. But why is the blocking it considered to be a fight
make me
back
write a
or
poem.
strike back?
This was regarding men and women relationship. That video was about it was at a bar, and the woman lashed out and hit the man first, but a man can't call the police and say, you know, she hit me. That's where he said, oh man, you too big to be getting hit, or you big enough to get hit. You know, that's where that come from. And he made a valid point, because I always tell you know, my son this: you don't put your hands on a woman, but you can protect yourself from getting abused. You don't have to be nobody's subject of their abuse. You leave to diffuse the situation, and protecting yourself isn't abuse. But in that video, the man said that when I hold my hand up or I push her off of me, she gonna say, you put your hands on me, you beat me up. And a lot of women do exactly what he described in the video. You know, a lot of women don't. A lot of women do. I'm not saying all women do that. I'm not saying that no women do that. Y'all get what I'm saying? But this have been a common narrative through
was he
I've said
talking
before that when we talked about men are overall throughout history considered monsters due to what they do with their power, and there was a reference that somebody made that demonized all men just for having penises, and I made a strong point to say that women can also be monsters, and we don't need a penis in order to do it.
Yeah, but sometimes women are the that I've seen. Women sometimes are the worst kind, because nobody, but they always take the side of the woman, even though she could be the antagonizer, she could be the shit starter, she could do all of that. You know, but there's someone out there that's like that. But then when the man can't go to his boys or to the police, or because he will be looked at as being weak.
You're right. Some of them like monsters too.
Was that video talking about like women in general? Was he talking about his mom putting his hands on him and he was blocking?
I think he was talking about an experience.
No, women. It was talking about a relationship that he was in. They was at a bar.
Oh, I thought
and
he was talking
she pushed him and she hit him and she did all of this stuff, you know. As soon as he put his hand up to push her off, it was like, you put your hands on me. You hit me. You know, like that. Okay. That's what he was talking about. Man, you too big to be getting hit. Man, you too big. You big enough to get hit. You know, that's what that was that video.
That's not the way.
Some women look just like monsters and act like it too. You're right about that.
And the relationship comes from a lot of times us mothers, sometimes the men that are abusive to women, and you can see how they are with their moms. And I hate to say that, but
no, it's true.
Yeah, you're right. If he uppercut his mama, he uppercut you too.
Yeah, my mother used to say, pay attention to how a man treats his mama, and that's how he's going to treat you.
So yeah, if he uppercut you, oh yeah, you could get it. Because if he don't have no more respect for the person that brought him into the world, what makes you think he gonna have some respect for the person just existing in this world?
Well, my point is, why do women still, they know it. They can say he got killer shoes, he got killer look. They still want the killer. I don't understand that
I
part.
don't understand that either. You gotta ask somebody that be with killers. I don't know. I don't understand that.
You know, I mean, you know that he beat women up. His ex-wife told you, and you still with the guy. He beat you up, and then you complaining.
Well,
Not,
it's the
hey,
same
not just the ex-wife, but you know what I mean, the chick's best friend or something like that. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
know exactly what he's gonna do and stuff. And still you be like, he's not gonna do that with me or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's like
that's
what they
the
say.
thought process. There was there is a woman that I know that I'm very close to. He gave her 2 children, 2 beautiful, wonderful children. One's a little shit, but it's okay. If she hears this, she'll know exactly who I'm talking about. But whenever she got pregnant initially with her firstborn, the baby almost killed her, and he was already like beating her before the baby was born. And then he thought that because this baby almost killed her, let's knock her up again and see if that'll work. And when she wasn't pregnant, he was beating her. He hit her while she was pregnant. And whenever they finally broke up and she finally set herself free, the next woman to get with him, she messaged her and said, look, I just need you to know for your own protection that he hits women and has no problem doing it. And the woman said, thought that she had some jealousy, like, oh, you're with the man that should be mine or some shit like that. And my friend was like, no, I do not want him. I cannot clarify that enough. I am literally only telling you this for your safety. And the girl would not believe it until he started beating her, and that was after he knocked her up too. So then after they separated, there's a third woman, and she got messages from both of his exes, both of his baby mamas, that said he will hit you. And this girl, she would hit him back. He laid his hands on her one time, and she fucked him up. And now he's getting himself in place and taking care of himself just because he has a woman that'll hit him back. But that's
what
not
I need. I need a woman that can do a flying back kick. I ain't never met one before.
This
I ain't never met one.
Your fascination with ninjas and karate and shit, taekwondo.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to beat nobody up, but damn, I mean, it'd be nice to kick every now and then. I mean,
just to,
I can't meet nobody like that.
Life and shit.
Right. I always meet the ones who already set it off already. Queen Latifah. I need some, you know, I can push them around and stuff. I won't be a bully. I won't be a bedroom bully for the night.
Right.
Why you want to push somebody around and try to rough somebody up? How you want to do that?
It seemed like it's fun. It seemed like it's fun to get mad and say, you know what, sit your ass down right now.
And when you do that, they be yoking you up by the collar and say, you sit your ass down. You be like, okay. Is that what you say?
Nah, hear what I'm saying. I'm just saying it's time to be a little bully every now and then.
But you get the ones that hit back. The one
that
yeah. Well, if we go to the subject of women having their own ways of being monsters, I know a young man that he is, again, one of my close friends, and because I help a lot of my friends with the problems that they go through. I have a lot of misfits in my friend group, and this particular individual, I've known him for years. He is a very submissive kind of individual, and he just wants to make a woman happy and tried so damn hard. I'm sorry your grandma put your grandpa through that. No, but he tried everything he could to make this woman happy. He was taking care of her and taking care of her child, her daughter. And it wasn't like she was just like regularly having sex with him or anything like that. He only cared about, can I make her happy? If I make her happy, that'll make me happy. And that's his whole personality. That's all he is. He doesn't have a violent bone in his body. He can't be violent. I've seen him angry, and all he does is stand in a place and huff and puff. I mean, he doesn't have the violence that comes with anger. His nature, yeah. All he has is love. Yes. Well, one day she had a job, and he lost his job, And she actually, I think he quit his job to help out around the house, because with her having the job that she wanted so badly, she wasn't able to have any care for her daughter. So he stayed to watch after the kid and to take up a role that he thought that she wanted him to have. At a certain point, she decided she didn't need him anymore and started kicking him out. And he's like, hold on, wait, let me get a job. Let me get myself put together. We've been together for some years now. Let me get myself settled up and I'll give you what you want and I'll go. And she said, no, you're going to get the hell out of my house, whether you like it or not. And he called the police, or she called the police, and accused him of sexually abusing her and sexually assaulting her daughter. And because he had no actual proof that he did not do any of that, he has that on his record for life.
Mm.
The fact that you gotta have
I was messing with this girl.
Her having wow.
I was messing with this girl, and her baby daddy tried to call CPS on me. I don't know what he did that for. CPS called me. I told him, whoever called you, I want a lie detector. I want a lie detector report, a urine sample, and I'm calling 60 Minutes. And I'm calling my lawyer. I said, what is your name? And tell your boss to call me. She said, I'm sorry, Mr. Thomas. I would not call you again. I said, you in trouble. I said, I'm suing you. I'm suing everybody because emotional distress. I cannot think. I'm going to the mental institution tomorrow morning.
Mm-hmm.
I told
You're
him,
doing
man.
all that you need to do on paper.
I'm not playing around.
Raising a boy, and that's going to be a man. Okay, so my son had this girlfriend. He's 16. He's all in love. She had him walking in the middle of the night, like 2 and 3 miles to and from her house. Like that's how in love. Had him babysitting her little sister and brother, cleaning up her house. My son was, I mean,
that's a good booty.
Yes. So this one particular time, she asked my son for some money, and he said that he didn't have it. It wasn't that he wouldn't give it to her; he just didn't have it. And then he said, "Well, what is it for?" And she said, "To get my friend an abortion." And my son was like,
Wow.
I know. And my son was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. So first of all, he's selfish. So, and then second of all, he would do it for you because he's having sex with you, but you want the money you save for your friend for her abortion. So my son said, no way, ain't doing it, ain't gonna happen. They got into a fight, and she called my son a bitch ass nigga.
Oh wow.
And he explained to me, Mama, she had me so hot, I wanted to grab her by her neck and strangle her. Yeah. And he was like, but you know what? I left. He was like, me and my anger left. And my mama don't even call me no bitch ass nigga. So you're not going to. So when he was telling me this story, my heart filled with pride because I raised him to where he's not going to allow a woman, any other woman, to do anything more to him than I've done. So I'm like, that's right, baby. If she treats you rougher than I treated you, then she's not for you. So I'm showing him how to get away from the situation, because nothing can come good if you're being with a person who makes you so angry you want to strike them, or they want to strike you. Best thing to do is leave it alone, because it's not going to get better.
I feel you on that. Definitely feel you on that.
We got another video wanted to show the one with LL Cool J, because that was a good one. Another one that that I was like, okay, this need to be. He ain't talking about him now. He's talking about for the youth. This is for the youth, right along the line what we've been saying, the whole conversation about the kids and growing up and all that stuff. Because what he do now,
a lot
I
of
don't
strangling
know.
in this episode.
David Green, what you got to say?
I remember I missed a lot of it. That's why I was asking. That, I mean, did anybody say anything about whipping that ass? Or
You
It's like
know
that
I did.
song says, "Crack that whip." I mean,
Right
shoot.
now.
I did. I did. That's what I'm saying. That Bruce Lee kick.
Shoot.
That's
Yeah.
yeah. And then if you really want to ass whoop it, you have some other kids whoop the kid ass. That's how you really do it.
Yeah.
No, you don't
Exactly.
have no other kids beat your son up, did you?
That's how you do. No, I haven't done it. I'm talking about somebody else's kid, not my kid.
My brother was always really, really violent. I remember one time me and my sisters were in the hallway passing a ball or some shit because we were bored. And we heard my dad say to my little brother, who was like 4 at the time, "You want to go whip their butts here?" And we heard the jingle of the belt, and he handed it to my brother. We went in 3 different directions.
You
I
let
probably
him.
would have done that
How old
proud.
was you? How old was you?
If my brother was 4, I was 14.
You going to be scared of a 14? Ain't no way. That little
My
brother
brother
was a
was
bicycle
born
kick
violent.
against the
Okay,
wall.
my brother used to, like, as soon as he could walk and climb, he climbed onto the table. He jumped on us and he choked us. He broke a 8 of a little girl's fingers at a daycare by slamming the door on them. He
Oh
threw
shit.
chairs at a pregnant lady at Walmart. He slapped the glasses off an old woman. He was a
You
violent
no problem,
dude.
child.
Dang, he got beat up. We're
He's
playing
a
basketball,
demon.
slam ball right in his face.
He
Bow.
said,
You have to be
"Help
good
me,
today.
child. That's a demon. He
Yeah,
needs
I'm
some
happy our
holy
mama
water
raised
and
Don't
him
hang out with me. I'll
some
get his
prayer."
ass. It's like kickball. You kick right in the face.
Got your heads right together,
He's 20
son.
years old now, and
Yeah,
he takes care
you're
of most
Luciani. You
people.
gonna act right.
He's the most smiling person I
Yeah, get
know.
at it, boy.
But back in the day, we thought he might have ended up killing somebody.
Destiny, you 14 running from a 4-year-old.
He was violent. He wouldn't
I'd
have
whooped
showed
you.
any mercy.
I'd have whipped out of mama. I'd have whooped you. I'm like, if you don't, you whipped your little boys gotta learn. My granddad used to always say, if you old enough to give a lick, you old enough to get a lick. And that's how we was raised. Oh, you hitting? Okay, come on, 2-year-old. I'm knuckle up.
Right.
Yeah, I'm
Right.
good with
Him
that.
like he's Chucky or something.
It wasn't a, "Oh, don't hit Brenda, she's the youngest." It was
My mother's
it
house,
was
I stayed in
always-
my room and I had 10 cars outside. I stayed in my grandmother's house in my same room. I had 10 cars outside and bought my mother a house. And when I was too young to leave, when we started Def Jam, I was 16 years old. I had records out 17, 18, 19. I got 10 cars outside. Like, I didn't want to leave home. Where I'm going? I did go crazy. I bought my mother a house. I stayed in my room and I had 10 cars outside. I stayed in my grandmother's house in my same room. I had 10 cars outside and bought my mother a house. And when I was too young to leave, when we started Def Jam, I was 16 years old. I had records out 17, 18, 19. I got 10 cars outside. Like, I didn't want to leave home. Where I'm going? I did go crazy. I bought my mother a house. I stayed in my room and I had 10 cars outside. I stayed in my grandmother's house in my same room. I had 10 cars outside and bought my mother a house. And when I was too young to leave, when we started Def Jam, I was 16 years old. I had records out 17, 18.
5.
Yeah.
We just needed to get the thought through.
It started to turn to a brag for a minute.
No,
Yeah,
what
because
he was
I
saying.
thought that was humble, and it's like the more times it was said, I'm like, nigga, all right.
This is what he's saying,
what I
y'all.
meant.
He's saying that he was too young to understand. He was 16 years old, still living in his grandma's house. He was comfortable. He was safe. He bought his mama a car, bought his mama a house, but he was still in his room at his grandmother's house.
Well, I
'Cause
can
he
say
had
I mean, we heard what he
money.
said. Yeah.
That's how we was doing it back then. That's how we were doing it when you were hustling. You be in the house, man. You got your 4 or 5 cars outside. Your grandma's house, your mama's house. You're right. That's how it was. You're right. It was balling back then.
I promise you, he didn't buy a house for his mama. His mama put the idea of him getting her a house in his head. Right, because 16 years old kids are not going like, you know what, Mom? I'm going to buy you a house. They more like, yeah, I'm going to go out and get cars first. I'm going to go out and get everything I want first. And then I'm going to buy you a house.
But
No,
that is
no, hey, Brenda, I disagree with
parents
that
had to
because
control the money anyway.
I disagree with that because they was, you know, I mean, they was poor projects that this is this and everything. You know, and the first thing, you know, what I mean, when you think you're about to have that come up or something like that, no, you think about, you know, what I mean, especially, you know, if you're real close with your mom, grandparents, whoever, no, you think about, I'm going to, you know, what I mean, since they took care of me, whatever, I'm going to take care of them.
Okay,
That's
so
true.
you
That's
even
true.
on interviews and everything, they'll say, what's the first thing They said, "What's the first thing you did?" It was like, "I bought my mom a house. That this is this. Shaq, that this no. Bought my mom a house. But that this is, you know what I mean." So
If you've got good supportive parents, then I mean, one of your first thoughts is, I probably wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. So you got to do something. I mean, sure, there's probably a lot of selfishness that happens right off the bat because, I mean, going from nothing to a lot is a huge jump. But, I mean, I was 15, still a rebellious kid, and I'm sitting there saying that if I had $1 million right up front, first thing I do is take care of my mama and her debts.
Well, you might be right, Brenda. Both y'all right. Brenda, you right though. I ain't buying my mama no house at first. I'm buying companies. Them niggas, they can wait. Them niggas can wait.
I'm investing first.
I know
Fuck
what
y'all, y'all
like
can wait.
I know what we as adults think, but I'm just thinking as a kid, and you get all this money.
I wait. If I was grown up, I still wait. They ain't get no money yet. It's time to open more companies, bring more money in. Then I might do some stuff, but just go off and buy. I ain't doing none of that.
So at
anybody
16,
bought me
you was
no.
thinking
Anybody
about,
bought me no house.
At 16, you was thinking about buying companies.
Yeah, I always was. I think I had a candy store in 4th grade. That's when I started candy store. Then I went from that. Then I started cutting grass. Age 15, all the neighbors' grass. Then I say around about 20, I started selling Monavie, the acai berry drink. Then I went from that, and then I started my cleaning service. After that,
Shit, that's
and
what's up.
between that, well, I was in the street being a general between all of that. So
You said being a general.
Out there with the plug and now.
You know what, Mr. Edible Bongs, looking back over it, I was always like the hustler too, but mine was in employment. I would go from job to job to job to get the raises that I wanted. So like in one company, I would go ask, I'd be like, okay, look, I make, everybody out in the world is making $9.25. I want to make $10.50. They would say, okay, we'll compromise and give you 10. Okay, great. I'd work that and do it because I was making more than everybody else. As long as I was, making more than everybody else, I was good. But as soon as everybody else caught up, it was time for a raise. And I would go in and be like, okay, I'm gonna need a raise to, $11, $12. They'd be like, well, no, we're not gonna give you a raise. I'd be like, okay. And 90 days later, I'd be at another job.
Brenda, was you ever the crew chief leader? See, I was the crew chief leader at Kentucky Fried Chicken when I was a teenager.
I knew when you said crew, I
was always in management, no matter where. When I started, like I would start at the filing job. I would start in the filing room. But within a year, I always was at the top. Wherever I was going, I was always there in a year.
Shout out to that.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't play. Like I was like, no, I'll come in and take my lumps in the mail room. I'll do that. But then after 90 days, it's time to start renegotiating the contract here.
Captain pay you what you worth. You got to know your worth. And that's like that in this comedy world that we in. You got to know your worth. A lot of comedians, they'll get lowballed. They say, okay, we're going to give you this little bit of money because somebody said a little bit money better than no money. Not when you know your worth. You're not going to get Beyonce to do a concert for $30 when she knows she worth $1,500 or whatever. Stuff like that. You know your worth. You know what you're bringing to the table. You know what you're doing. You know that you're giving a good quality, good quantity, good product. You know your worth, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to be compensated for your time.
You do have to know your worth. But I love this conversation in comedy. It is one of the most debated ones in comedy because I love comedians, right? Like I want to see y'all do well. I build stuff for y'all to do well. And I think myself, you should know your worth, but that means know your worth. Don't come in overinflated just because your ego is overinflated.
Mm-hmm.
if I put your name on the roster and at least one person don't sign up and say, you know what, I'm coming just because Funny Man Green is coming. You know, last night on the show, we had a shout out to Damian Seaman and company, and Junior. Okay. They sponsored Funny Man Green. So
That's
now
what's
he
up.
knows, right. He didn't come in saying, okay, well, I'm gonna need to be paid $300. Okay, but one person didn't buy a ticket. But in Funny Man Green's case, I could say they bought a ticket because of him. So yes, know your worth.
And isn't there, I mean, isn't there opportunities that might necessarily, because I feel like there's a lot of spaces, especially when you in a field like this where you have to do, like, networking is everything. It's not as easy as it is to just post and say, oh, we're doing this or we're doing that. Sometimes you got to do the groundwork. But I think there's free stuff that might not necessarily be monetary, but the environment and what the environment brings to, like, your craft and it, and especially being a safe space to be able to perform and try out new, like, jokes and new routines and stuff like that. I think that's worth an investment. I think that's something that you can still immerse yourself on, maybe on the side, so you can reach towards that monetary. But I don't think there's anything wrong with some of your endeavors being free.
No, not like that. I meant to say, like, say, who's the super producer? Say you got a big
Molly
show.
Mall.
Say, okay, say Molly Mall doing a show. He getting $3,000 for a show and gonna pay you $50.
Hmm.
There's a lot of people that will get over
I know
on
what you're
you
saying now.
because they try to take advantage of you. They try to take advantage of your niceness. You know, they try to take advantage of okay, she cool, she'll do it for this, she'll do it for that. And people, you know, if they could get you, they'd get you. And y'all know what I mean, you know. And it shouldn't be like that. People shouldn't, you know, but there's a lot of greedy people, a lot of mean people, a lot of nice people, and you dealing with the comedy business. You know,
Well, I want
Can I?
y'all to put y'all hands together for yourselves because
Hey,
you
shout out
guys
to the comedian.
garnered
I'm
$60
clapping for y'all.
in sponsorships. $60 at people. You guys sponsored each other. Other people sponsored you. Some were instantaneous sponsorships. Some came from last week when they wanted to sponsor you, but came in under the timeline. But altogether, you guys garnered $60 in sponsorships, which gives us enough money to do another episode on Tuesday. So in the greediness of it all, if a comedian comes to me and tells me, okay, I'm going to need $150 to do 30 minutes. Okay. And I'm like, okay. And in the back of my mind, I know I'm selling tickets for $55. But if you come to me and that is your price and that is what you put your foot on, then
Then
yes,
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna give
accept
it to
that
you.
shit.
And you
Yeah.
can't get mad if I make $44,000 because
Yep.
you came to me and said, I'm not doing it for anything other than $150. Well, okay. Because in my world, if I made 44, I'm so happy that I made 44. Depending on how hard you worked or what you did, I'm definitely giving you your worth. You know,
well,
I'm definitely going to be like, okay, Althea was the I call it the Netflix special. So Althea did the Netflix special, which means she did a majority of the show. Heck yeah, she gets about a good 10 grand out of that.
Right.
Yeah, thanks Althea for holding it up. Because guess what? If not one person bought a ticket, that would have been a big chunk of your time.
How
So
do
is
y'all
there?
feel
Yeah.
about
Go ahead,
individuals
Destiny.
that how do y'all feel about individuals that within the comedy world, the example I have is someone was paid $50 but asked me to open up for them and gave me 20 out of those dollars. And recently, when they had something negative to say about the entire comedy community and I defended the comedy community, he held the $20 that he gave me over my head. How do you feel about someone that uses their generosity as a weapon?
then they're not a good person because a real hero don't need any recognition. I say that time and time and time again. If you're really doing something genuine and from your heart, that's enough right there. You don't hold nothing. See, he wasn't doing nothing for generous of his heart. He doing the old bait and switch. He doing that so he can have a hook in you some kind of way or whatever. So, I mean, that one left.
The way that I see it is he paid you for your service, or he didn't pay you for your service. $20. That's
You go hold
I
it over
like,
your head.
yeah, for me to change my opinion and not to, defend the comedy community, take your $20 and shove it. So people like that, Destiny, I feel like this. You don't have to react because the whole world sees what they're doing. Right? You're not the only one with eyeballs in your head. The whole world sees what they're doing, and now they have a choice to make. Do you want to deal with someone like that? Because just because it was her this time and never you, don't mean it can't be you next time.
Right.
I want to see people put in the. Oh, go ahead, funny man.
You can go ahead. I'll go after you.
Oh, I wasn't going to say nothing really in particular. I was just going to say that I want to see people put in enough legwork to the point where it doesn't matter, because in business you have to be tunnel vision anyway. A lot of that shit is going to fucking hurt. Like, not to be cussing excessively, but a lot of a lot of the shadiness of business. And to highlight Reese for a moment, I've been around some of those scenarios that you mentioned on your show before that was shady and shiesty. So I've seen how people can be undermined and everybody on the same fucking level. Nobody is no higher than they might feel like it, or they might have enough, likes or something popping on their page to make them feel like they are. But I would like to see people have enough initiative, enough legwork, enough going for themselves and for their brand to the point where that nothing is an L anymore. It might be a learning lesson, but nothing is ever a loss. So nobody's ever getting you. It's just somebody that allowed themselves to be revealed as somebody that you don't need to fucking work with. That's what I think. But go ahead, funny man.
I was involved in a shady incident. Like I said, I played football, and also they wanted me to organize. It was raising money for something, whatever. And they wanted me to do a show. There were some people that I know in Virginia, and he said he was going to have a DJ, a rapper, a opener, and it was supposed to be me and him or whatever like that. No, so time of the show, it was just him, because he said everybody came up with COVID or something like that. No, so we had to do. It was a 2-hour show. I only had 20 minutes. Between up, I was thinking maybe like 20, 30 minutes. He ended up having to do an hour. I ended up having to do an hour, whatever like that. No, they liked the show, whatever. No, it was a $1,000 show. I gave him 500. Yeah, I gave him 500 and whatever like that. No, he went behind my back and said, like, so. Oh, and it was free drinks, because it was like free drinks, food, and like I said, he went behind my back and said something about his. They ended up paying for his room or whatever like that. So then he asked me to return the favor or whatever like that. And I did the show and everything. And when it's time to get paid, he said we only made $30 at the door.
Wow.
So
wow,
you know what I mean. And that was at the time. Well, I ain't gonna say he was like a real good friend, but it was a coworker that what I mean. We talked about it's like, oh, you do comedy, okay? I do comedy. Then this is this, and we got a link, and this is
Read
this.
his
So
question when he gets done talking.
oh, I'm good.
Oh no! I wasn't cutting you off. I was just saying, Destiny was in the back chat and she was talking about one of the questions that Molly had. That I think everybody on the panel can discuss in this subject with promoters and stuff like that. You want for reading it, Destiny?
Well, his question was, and if he feels like bringing it up, I can read it directly. Otherwise, it's off the top of my head. It was something along the lines of, if you want $125 for a show, but my $25 tickets aren't even selling, then does that mean you're really worth $125? And I have over here, that is an interesting question. What if the promoter or producer didn't advertise very well? Does that reflect the performance worth? Yeah, there it is. If someone asked for 150 and can't sell at least 10 tickets at $25, how much are they really worth?
Damn.
you had on before I came
So
out.
what if it's not necessarily the performer but the producer?
Right. You
Well,
know,
Ain't nobody
together,
gonna do
There's
it.
a show right
I
now,
think
like
'Cause you could have sold
I
all your
think
tickets, but that don't mean shit for the venue.
I
Cause
think
that
together
happened.
it
That me and Molly was at the show, and Molly knows exactly what show I'm talking about because Molly bought a ticket. That's when all the whole plug came together, and we
that's what's
did a
up.
show out in Rockville. Trey, you wasn't with the plug at that time.
Mhm.
Nene, Rico, Molly, just I sold 40 tickets by myself. It was like
I remember you
a
saying
lot of
that.
people was in there. We was out in Rockville. So the other acts, right,
can y'all
didn't didn't
oh,
it fell short, but that was okay. I didn't care because I know I went above and beyond it, and we did our thing with the thing that came out to support. But the other people, they didn't even finish the show because after the folks saw me, they left, and they was like, the other performers, they were like, well, we ain't even go up because they didn't come here to see me. They came here to see her, and I was the one that was no name. So the no
okay.
name sold more tickets than the name brand. Does that make sense?
Yeah, the people
Did that?
that you would
we
think would
put in
bring
the
all
work
the
to
attention
handle.
were the ones that didn't at all. Everybody didn't put in that legwork. But a lot of those people, their ego make them think that they're going to fill a spot just because their numbers are jumping on Facebook or something like that. And that
Yeah,
you can
a
have a
lot of
million followers and can't fill a venue, of people. So yeah, like
Can y'all
that's
that's
unfortunate. I
that's
have
pretty
seen that
cool to
too.
throw in there
all
too. Like
all,
we rely
all
on
I'm
the
saying
producer, your show, advertise it, but we
all
could
I'm
also
saying
throw
is I think it's everybody's responsibility together, right?
Yes.
Like the audience is going to prove who the proof is in the pudding when the audience is there. So I am one of these people. I guess y'all don't consider me a super producer yet, but I will work on y'all. Anyway, when I throw my shows, I can look around the room and see kind of who did what, right? And everybody turns and looks at me and goes, "Well, you didn't sell any tickets?" And I tell them I did my part. I'm like, "Where are your people that you know?" And they're like, "Oh, well, okay, if you don't know any people, how come you didn't make any friends when you got here?"
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm looking around the room and all I see is the people that I invited. So I obviously did my job, right?
Mhm.
You guys wouldn't be standing here if I didn't do my
We
job,
wouldn't have this
right?
venue if it wasn't.
Right.
Yeah.
And making friends is important because I tell you, because you could go into a venue where you don't know nobody, but because you was funny and you did what you did, now you got some new friends and new followers. That's how you
Yes,
get the new friends and the new followers. They were like, you know what, you funny. Where you gonna be the next time? I'm gonna come and see you next time. Because I don't know you
yes,
from Adam House Cat.
Why don't
Just because you didn't sell the tickets don't mean you're not talented. There's a
why
lot of people. Luther Vandross got booed at the first time at the Apollo. That don't mean he wasn't good. That just means that he ain't selling no tickets or they wasn't into him. That don't mean he
well, no,
wasn't
that he kind of
talented.
wasn't any. He kind of wasn't good at the Apollo. If you ever go back and watch that episode, he wasn't good at all. Like it
I
was
gotta
not
watch it because
good.
I haven't seen it. So I can't
I
just
gotta see that
Well,
because
that
I
don't
can't
mean he
Yes,
assume
can't
because
sing.
I can't imagine his
You know,
voice not ever
that
being
doesn't.
on point.
it doesn't mean that he's no good overall. It just means that that time, that performance,
That
that
era, okay.
day, that
Okay.
moment was
Not
not
it,
good.
And
And
then we had another incident. Look, I'm always throwing Molly up because Molly was with me with a lot of stuff. Go janky. We did at a club in Fuse. Trey, I think you might have heard about that.
mm,
Ron, Rico, Molly, Gwen was there. Melvin there. My aunt Pam came. Kenny was there, and two more people came right to this event. Right,
mhm.
selling tickets. I was told that I was part of the comedy lineup. It's going to be a jazz band. Jasmine takes the jazz band, the DJ, and like two other comedians, right? When I get there, because the people now I sold my tickets. When I get there,
Damn.
Molly was sitting right there. They was like, dang, agree. The host wasn't hosting. He was sitting down drinking and flirting with the ladies. The DJ didn't come. The other band, the jazz band, didn't come. What nobody did but myself. And I was like, wow. And one of my friends that came, Kenny Ham Jr., who can actually sing. Shouts out to Kenny. Kenny could sing. So I said, Kenny, would you sing a song for me? They sat there, and then they was charging $25 a ticket at the door, right? So my folks sat there, and nobody else paid. So did you know the DJ, when it comes time to get paid at the end of the night, he said, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna send you money. I'm gonna cash app you your money." The producer, don't you know they shysted me? I did not get paid because he said he had to pay the DJ that had to step in. I was like, well, wait a minute. If it wasn't for my 9 people or 11 people that was there, you wouldn't have nothing to pay the DJ. So I felt like you should have paid me mine off the bat because
Yeah, you had real worth.
I brought the people in. They came to see me, love and support on me. And then that just hurt me to my heart. I was like, wait a minute. I was angry. I was upset. I was, and Marley was like, don't worry about it, Ree. You just know next time. Everybody know Marley is just so damn lackadaisical about shit. Don't worry about it. You just next time. And I wanted to fight the man, flatten some tires and everything. Marley just like, don't even worry about it. You just know.
Well, it's time. Also on the other side. I mean, both sides can share some mirror image to who should get paid for what, right? Like everybody can throw their hat in the ring of who should get paid. So in your instance, Althea, yes, you brought the people with the money, but I mean, you have to go against the person who put it together. They already sunk money. So now you're still in second place when it comes to. And the DJ, unfortunately, is a part of the hard cost because without
that was a stepping DJ because the DJ
he filled in after.
Nobody didn't show.
The one that didn't
he
show
wanted
up.
to pick up one of his friends that filled in.
Nobody.
You don't get no money.
Okay, I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about whether you had a DJ or the thing is you have to have one, whether it's the one that you planned or a fill-in or somebody in the audience that know how to DJ. You still have to have one because you have to have audio. Without audio, there is no show.
No show.
You might as well put on some paint on your face.
There is no show. The DJ didn't do. Molly was there. Ask Molly. It was like, man, and then it was made it so bad. The people was like, I want my money back, but none of my folks didn't ask for their money back. They could have. They should have.
Yes, there's a lot of. There's all I'm saying. Yeah, somebody mad.
Ghetto.
David, you okay over there?
Yeah, I'm over at my mom's and she's yelling at the grandkids.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I was looking around at everybody's face and
David to see if there's any traumatic.
Was like,
first hand witness shit.
All I'm saying is, if everybody works together, you can see the outcome in the audience. You can see if you have people that believe in you, that really they're like, oh yeah, I want to see you the next time you perform, and they are people of their words and they come and watch you perform, you will see that. And then you guys won't have to be fighting over the scraps, right?
Brenda, you missing the whole point. There was no scrap. There was nobody to fight with. I was it.
That's the scraps. You guys had like $100 to fight between yourselves.
Yeah, but I see where she's coming from. If she brought the people that brought the money, then she proved her worth.
And did her part of the job, because you as the promoter or the owner of the venue, you're supposed to have business jumping regardless of this event. It's supposed to be bodies of people there regardless that want to be there as patrons to buy drinks and buy tickets.
But as we know, Trey, in all of our events that we have all been privy to go to, there's about 20 to 30 people that show up. Okay.
I personally haven't.
So there's like, I mean, most shows, I'm not saying that there aren't shows that have like hundreds of people that show up, but for the most part, at a show or an open mic or something like that, it has about 30 to 35 people that show up. And if you're charging $5 for that or whatever have you, as the promoter or the person putting it together so that there is somewhere for people to come to pay their money, you're already in it a couple of $100 at least. And
But
that's
that's
if you
not
put no
nobody's
money
fault.
into it.
That's not nobody's fault though, because damn, like I know I know a
No,
store I'm going to need resources and they got to pay vendors to bring them
it's
shit, but that ain't
nobody.
got.
But the reason that the promoter is paying you as the comedian or as the talent is because they're counting on the fact that your name brings people. And in Althea's case, they did. But and the promoter, right? Maybe he didn't bring people, but still, that doesn't negate that you need to pay the
He had a
DJ because
band.
of the
He
audio.
didn't have to pay the band. He didn't have to pay the DJ. He didn't have to pay the other
Maybe
comedians.
not the band.
He didn't
You
have
could
to pay.
have came before the band.
You know, so it wasn't that he was not counting on me. He all that should have been, that jazz infused and all that stuff should have been in place. But when I'm saying, you don't go to work and your boss tell you after you work, Brenda, after you work your shift or you waiting for your paycheck, you don't get paid. How does that make you feel?
Well, in that case,
Work is work.
hold on. It has been done to me before, and as a part of the project or whatever. Do you think that I've been doing this as long as I have, and everybody's paid me what they told me they were going to pay me? Just like raise your hand if you think that that's happened. Yeah, no, I've been there a lot of times where people tell me that they're going to give me something, and because of a situation or something somebody else does, not even what I do, something somebody else does, I don't get the money to do what I told the 8 other people that I was going to do. So therefore, it's in a perfect world, everybody gets paid and there's more money to left over. But when you have a little bit and everybody on the team is coming in to, I'm first, I'm second, I'm third.
But there wasn't no team. I was not invested. I was just a hired act. It was not a bring a crowd. I didn't have to bring nobody. I was just a hired act. There wasn't, I wasn't invested. There wasn't no team. I was just a hired act.
When are we gonna stop? When we're gonna actually start like not enabling, or I feel like we are not saying the fact that these business moves that the people that I guess we have to work with or whatever, you got to find your way, you got to figure out, the formula, who to work with, who not to work with, but these mediocre ass steps, because these people that are supposed to be the promoters anyway, are you a true promoter if you can't do those basics? If we know that you need a DJ, a reliable one, if we know that you need somebody for the sound, or you need a bartender, or you need somebody to be at the door for tickets, why are we still doing this mediocre shit? And why do we not, or why have I not heard of a epicenter of information and networking for everyone that considers themselves to be a comedian? There should always be somebody on call somewhere in your area that or put on to be able to fill those spots, because we keep saying, oh my God, it didn't go the way it was supposed to. But I mean, how not when you claim to have a business?
Well, how not is because 85% of it is you being sure that it's going to happen the way that you see it in your head. There's always that 15%, which is other people, which is what you can't control, is what they are going to do. So in my world, in Saucon, the city land, everybody who comes to my shows or is a part of what I do, everybody has to understand that maybe it goes right sometimes and then maybe it goes wrong sometimes. But what we don't do is we don't turn on each other and start pointing fingers. When there's a lot of money, we share it. Like we have $60 in the pot. I'm really proud of them. Like y'all all did that. So now we're going to play for it again. And I'm not going to hold it and go eat sushi and buy hair bows, even though it is my birthday and I could definitely do that and get away with it. No, I'm going to wait until tomorrow and I'm going to buy myself an amazing episode. But as promoters out there, which I hate, I am not a promoter. I tell people that all the time. People do not come to my shows because I said so. Althea can attest to that. I want to talk more about how it went on Sunday. Right. I want to know like how it went on Saturday. I mean on Friday and not Friday, Saturday and Sunday. I want to know. If you aren't
Right.
prepared to follow through on something, don't do it because it damages your word. You can be prepared all
Immensely.
you want, Destiny. But just like you had your daughter, you were prepared not to, right? But something happened and you had her and you're happy that you had her and you deal with what happened.
That's not really
That's
the
not.
most grand comparison to what's going on here.
Okay, let's go with this. You can buy a car. In your head, you are prepared to make the payments. You are prepared to do the insurance, but something happens to your job. Now you don't have the money to follow through on the agreements that you signed.
But then did. Mm.
I'm not
But you
going if there's something struggling with my job, like if I've been with this job for years and there's no reason why I shouldn't have this job, then yeah, I'll look into getting a car that fits within my means. I'm not going to go for
and
some
that's and
Maserati if all I can afford is a Camry.
right.
So you get what you can. You dedicate yourself to that, especially with a car. You're signing a contract that you're going
You
to be
can
able
lose
to
your
follow
job at any
that.
moment. You can lose your job at any moment. Everything can be going right for 25 years, and one day they walk into your office and say, "Well, we can't have you here no more. Sorry, we don't like
It
the
don't
color of
work
your
like
toenail
that.
polish."
There's some lead up or something that happened.
Yeah,
There's always
something.
warning
Uh,
signs
Yeah,
that you
there's got to
ignored
be
or
warning signs.
dismissed that just
And
pop up.
regardless, since I signed a contract saying that I will provide this, then my ass will be on Indeed.com that day.
yes, and
I'm
you
going to
can
make
do
sure I can follow through on what
and,
I signed an agreement that I would do. If the man made an agreement to Althea that he was going to pay her some amount, then if nobody showed up, he made the agreement to pay her that amount, and he should have.
So that's more that comes out of your
yes,
hole that you're already
he
in.
he
And that's
made the agreement based on the fact of what you just said. Everything looked great. Everybody was in agreement. Everybody was on the same page. It was going to turn out the way that he thought, and then it didn't.
that just sounds
So
like the
all
excuses for not having a backup though.
Yeah,
Backup
I
plan.
mean, he should already like if he said he was
Well
going to pay
thought
her
out.
$125, he should have 125 sitting aside, regardless of whatever crowd
As
comes in.
insurance in
Yep.
case it
Yes,
does
to
fuck
make
up and go
sure
left.
that he can do what he
well,
said that he
we
could do.
but we all know that what like I'm gonna
Doing the
say
show, you
75% of comedy shows are not built that way. 75% of the shows that you stand on because you don't know the back end, you don't know the dealings, you don't know what was said. Um,
The
in
shows
in
down here are
cases,
built like that.
in,
Yeah,
If a
in
producer doesn't pay somebody,
you
then
still
that
get your
somebody
money.
goes and tells people, and then nobody wants to work for that producer anymore. So down here, Alabama, Florida, Mississippi, they make sure to follow through on their word so that people will want to work to perform with them.
and that is definitely one of those things in show business. You have to, if you put your name on something or you agree to do it, you do it with 100% of who you are. If you stand back in the corner and expect somebody else to do all the work, you're in comedy shows, you're never going to be booked. I'm just going to tell you that now. You're never, nobody's ever going to book you. So if you think that sitting in the corner and crossing your arms going, it's your fault, it's my fault, it's your fault, it's my fault. Remember what is it? The promoter is the one that does the booking most of the time. They're the gatekeepers, right? So if you think your group as comedians are tight, remember there's a comedian being born every 2 seconds. Not so much in producer land. I mean, not producer, promoter land. In order to be a good promoter, you have to work at that because you have to have people that are come out to your events. So on both ends, it's a loss. But if you guys come together and do a show, no matter whose show it is, like Althea with Comedy Face Off, it's not my show, but I'm going to be over there. She didn't pay me, even though I feel if whatever I bring, I should be paid for. And even if she told me that she was going to pay me for it, some things that you think are a good idea, you invest your time in. So you got to be careful as a comedian on what you're doing.
I don't
Brandon,
think
this
Yeah,
wasn't
the
that kind of
discussion
thing.
here is going to
Yeah.
convince me that Althea shouldn't get what she was
Get
told she
paid.
That wasn't that kind of thing, Brenda. And it's
No,
bad
she
enough I was
did.
taking a cut because my manager had booked that. The manager was like, okay. And then the manager said, the guy didn't pay you. I said, no, he didn't pay me. And that's janky promotion.
Yeah.
But did he ghost you too on top of it?
Yes, he did not respond to me.
Okay.
And I'm
So
and I'm told, I'm like, that's
that is
janky.
It's not
indeed
right.
no, that
Yeah.
is indeed not right. That's janky promotion. You don't, if even if things go wrong, you don't run and hide as a promoter. You stand your ground. Everything is not going to go the way that it's supposed to go. And if you're dealing with reasonable people, which you should really watch out who you book, because you need to book reasonable people, because things are not always going to work out. But then you sit down and you talk about what is going on. If both people stand in the corner, both people have valid reasons of standing in the corner with their arms crossed, but that's not going to work out. That is janky out there because he disappeared. He didn't tell you, he didn't stand up and say, okay, made a mistake. That didn't turn out the way that I thought it would.
No, he lied and told me, "Oh, I'm gonna cash app you your money." And we were sitting there because I was riding with because Gwen was like, "Get your money before you leave here." Molly was there. Molly, you was there that night.
Molly, which
Where
night? Which one?
where Molly?
Y'all
Hey.
still talking about it? Which night? I know you talking about Infused still.
I know we giving
Come
examples.
on, man. I eat there, man. I can't talk too bad about them. They gonna fuck my food.
But
Spilling your
Infused wasn't the
shit.
one doing the show.
Yeah, Infused wasn't, and Infused is a restaurant. So what happened was they didn't sell that many tickets before the show, and they thought that people can just pay when they get to the door, like most spots. Like if you don't buy your ticket, it's gonna be $5 more at the door.
Yep.
People were just walking in that motherfucker, and Infused
Yep.
told them they can't collect money in front of the door because they're a restaurant. They would lose their license. So whatever tickets weren't sold before, that's on them. So the promoter, he was like, shit, ain't nothing he
Promoter
can
fault.
do about that, but that's what it already came down to. So some people was coming to get food and was looking like, oh, what's going on over here? And they just sit down.
Damn, that's
Yeah.
So
crazy
it
shit.
looked
For
like it
free.
was a lot of people in there, but the whole time, a lot of people just come to get food, and Infused like a hangout spot.
Damn.
People come there on the weekend anyway just to get drunk and chill at the bar. Yeah, but he still said he was going to throw Reese some, because Reese saved the show. Nobody else really showed up,
Yeah.
that supposed to perform. But her and the DJ, they really the only two. So he supposed to lost money, and that's what, I done did that as a promoter. I just had to come out of pocket and pay people and just take a L, because you want to keep business with them people. But he chose to run. That's the part I ain't like about it. And her manager, he ain't really do things well. So,
Yeah.
but things like that happen. It happens.
I'm with you, Molly. Things happen, and I don't like people who run. I'm still paying off shows. I am still paying off my show from 2020. I'm still paying off the show David Green came to in Vegas. I am still paying off shows because I believe in the product, and I believe that the show will one day be able to pay all that back stuff I owe, plus give someone the new forefront. And again, y'all made $60, so I think this is going to become the new game, right? Because you can kind of get in on the winning. So as far as I'm concerned, when people come together to make a show, if it goes wrong, don't run. That's what makes it like the police. They shoot you if you run, right? Like if you take off, you're gonna get shot. So stand there and explain, because and then on the other side, people have to understand things go wrong, things don't happen. And if it comes in between me having a roof over my head and paying somebody money to do because I said I was going to, guess who's going to lose out? But at least I'm going to stand there and tell them.
Hey, Brenda, I agree with Destiny, Trey, and Reese. Okay, so let's say you're talking about, things go wrong, whatever. No, if you're paying somebody to cut the grass or whatever like that, no, and something happened to the mower, whatever, no, where they only halfway finished, you still got to pay that person. You know what I mean?
If
Even
something did what?
Even though
You got
something,
paying for an unfinished job.
huh?
You said you still got paying for an unfinished job.
I mean, you got to pay him for the work. The work that I'm talking about. If I'm not talking about if he brought, you know what I mean, if he brought the mower or something like that. No, I'm talking about, you know what I mean, I don't know, like I don't know, next door, something like that. You know what I mean? If you're using, if it's your property, I mean, I'm not your property, but you know what I mean, like your mower or whatever like that. No, and somebody, you know what I mean, doing the yard and stuff and all, and it breaks down or something like that. Yeah, they gotta be paid.
I'm lost, Dave. You got me.
I don't know if I'd pay for an unfinished business. She didn't give an unfinished business, so it
No,
that's
she
that's
did.
a
She
that's a
did.
separate subject.
Right. And in my world, Althea would be the second, but you have to pay your DJ. No matter what, you have to pay the DJ, and that's all I'm saying. If there was another person on top of that, it's a structure of a show. Just like without talent, you can't have a show. Without a microphone and sound, you can't have a show. And everybody again on that situation should have came in. The thing that made it bad is that he ran. That's the thing that I don't respect.
It's not just that he ran. The matter of fact, the irregardless kind of deal is that if he told her he was going to pay her amount and he goes, hold on, I need to pay the DJ. If he was like, I'll get back to you, I will pay you, I promise, and he actually went through with paying her, that's another thing. Like, you don't have it right now, okay, I get it, but he made the statement that he was going to pay her, and then he just didn't. And it doesn't matter. Oh, well, he had to pay this guy. That makes that guy sound so much more important than the performance that Althea was able to put forth.
Now the DJ was the amateur because the original DJ didn't show. The DJ didn't show. The band didn't show. None of the other comedians show. So he went and got his friend that had some equipment to hook it up. That's your friend you got. I'm not your friend. I'm just a high performer.
Again, all the things
I got you on the back end. Let me get
all
this
the
girl
things that I said was pursuant to he was still around, because you were talking about him like you guys like he was still around. But you and Molly explained that he disappeared, and everything that I say is canceled out once you disappear. Once you just act like it didn't happen, then you get what you get. But for the most part, before it gets there is what I'm saying. Everybody should come together and just decide what happened. Saturday night, it was a surprise. Molly, how did it look? I don't know. I wasn't there.
It was lit. It was lit. I got there a little late. I missed Lee performance, but other than that, I seen everybody else. It was a little hot early on, but eventually the AC cut on and we was all cool. But I think it was good vibes. Everybody mostly did well. Except one kid, Solo, the Spanish kid.
Soto.
Yeah, I can tell that was his first time, so he the only one that probably needs some work, but he'll run a lot of good comedians, so I think he'll be okay. But I think everybody had a good time, they got donations. I don't know how much came on the Cash App, but I know we put money in the box. People was put money in the box. I got good footage, good pictures of everybody, so yeah, I think it turned out great. Reese and them came back that Sunday morning, so for the whole weekend, I think it overall it turned out better than we expected.
Not better than we expected. I expected it to be 100 people pushing out the door. So that's not what happened. I expected tickets to sell. That is not what happened. So what happened was we as a group had to come together and decide if we were going to do it or not. Now it wasn't about money. It was about just doing something for the cause. So there are all types of reasons why things don't work out. Some people are are very technical and it doesn't ease in their mind, but people don't just run away from the situation. It's not always going to work out. But I can tell you this, when Sauce in the City gets up there to accept our Grammy and we're walking as one of the best shows online or however they want to say it, I'm going to bring everybody, whether I owe them or not, along with me. So you can sit in the corner and, be upset about what didn't happen, or you can come and celebrate with everybody and take part in, making money off the show. I know Althea came to the on Sunday and nobody showed up. So what did I do to repay her? Is that I put her book on my show, and the squeal that she gave me was payment enough. And now we will share that video and share that video and share that video and share that video and share that video. And for that, there is not enough money she could pay me. So sometimes you got to come together. Don't just disappear, because that's shady. What did you call it? Janky promotion.
Promotion.
And here's the thing: if he would have just talked to me, I would have understood. But he rather disrespect. I felt disrespected. I was like, if I was a man, would he had did this to me, or because I was a female, I was a non-motherfucking factor. That's the only way, And I was just hurt behind it. I was like, why y'all doing,
Yes. And that's where the anger came in at. Like, how you gonna just treat me like I don't matter?
Yeah, I just like, what happened to, like, do the love ever be there, or do it fall away once people, get to a certain mark? It's like sports. Like, kids play free their whole life, and then when they become a professional, they get paid. So they like, I can't play out there. I get paid to do this. But a lot of these comedians and people that's trying to come up, they don't understand. They still in the world when you trying to make it to the league. Y'all ain't get to the league yet. But they looking to get paid like they already made it. So it just be like, is y'all doing it for the love or really just for the money? Like, can you just go out there and enjoy being a comedian? Like, this another opportunity I get to show off my talent, like kids used to do in sports. Like, we wouldn't know LeBron until he got in high school. People like to watch him, but now you got to pay to watch him, because we done seen enough of him that, dang, this kid is great. But a lot of people don't go out there because they feel like, oh, I ain't getting paid, I ain't going. Then we won't see you. And then eventually another kid come along that been doing these free shows. Now he getting paid. Like, how he just jump in front of everybody because he kept working. He kept believing, and he loved what he doing. When you love what you doing, it's not work. So a lot of people, they out here crying about money. I just think they ain't really got the love for it. If you feel like you got to get paid every time to go ahead and just make people laugh, then this ain't your passion, because there's still people out here professional. Dave Chappelle, Cat Williams, they go hit these shows and just practice on their craft for free. You never know where they might pop up. They ain't coming in and say, oh, I'm going to need at least 500 to give you 5 minutes. No, they say, can I at least get 5 minutes? Hell yeah, you can. And they go up there and they work on their craft. So I just like a lot of these comedians, if you're not getting paid, it's the time to work on your craft. And if you feel like you got to get paid, then you might not love it. Find something else.
And it also depends, Molly, on the conversation you have. Let the person know. Don't say, I'm going to pay you this. This is what you're going to get. And then at the 11th hour saying, you ain't get nothing. Because you be, okay, I'm thinking, y'all remember down what the dude did at the Martinis in White Plains? I had to pay Lee. I had to pay everything because he said, I got you on the show. I want you to come host. And this is what you're going to get. And then he gonna say, "Oh, I only got 28 people. I didn't get 30 people, so I'm not paying you nothing." That's after I done did the show. It was me and the guy. After we done did everything, and I paid my folks. And then you sitting there looking, because I didn't tell Lee and Tyree and them. I didn't say I didn't date it. He jinked me, and I can't pay you. No, I still paid them. So it's business. It's sometimes a business, but you got to have that conversation. I understand it, because I did some whole bunch of performances where they say, "Come do a spot, come do this." You do it because you love it. But then when it comes to work, then that's something different. When you come, when they say set up, like I wouldn't have you come and say, "Come take these pictures," and say, "I'm gonna pay you $500." You get there, you take the pictures. Oh, I ain't make nothing. I ain't pay you.
That happens. That happens a lot. I done been to
Exactly.
parties and they done told me, you get here, we got 500 for you, da da da. They only had 300. They was hoping that other people was gonna give them the money, but they didn't come through. And I said, okay, I make that 300 work. But what sucked, I got 2 other photographers with me that I gotta pay. So I say, you know what I'm gonna do?
They
I
should have
start to
said,
learn. Yeah, I just started learning
They
from it
should have
though.
said, "I'll pay you 300, and
That's
there's
what
going
I
to be a
did.
tip bucket out." That's what they should have said.
Nah, that's exactly what I stopped putting out. I say cash at me for donations. Some people donate me, and then I start bringing on my picture printer, and I actually want to buy a picture. So when people did come up short, I say, "Do you mind me bringing my printer in so I can make up for that 200?" They say, "Sure." Now I made an extra 500. You know, so I just started to learn that sometimes things do happen, but take a deposit up front. And, you know, by the end of the time, I got the footage, so you can't pay me. You won't see your video anyway. You won't
You
see
holding that
anything,
stuff
you
back,
know.
but
So
but you
nah,
can't do
I
that
still
with Joe.
got people. I
I
still
can't
got
do
people footage. Like you
I
ain't
can't
getting
take
it.
a hosting gig back. I come do what I do, make the people lie. They was like, "Oh, you funny. Oh, we love you. This and this and that." And then at the end of the night, I didn't make enough.
Yeah,
And I'm
but you
like,
showcase your talent. See, me holding on to the video, nobody else will see that video. I make money by people seeing my work. People seeing your work. So people, I like you as a host. Could you come host my event? You know, but if I
yeah,
share this video, people might see it and be like, man, I like what you did with that video. Can you do mine? It might be a cousin, a relative. So that's the only benefit that come out. You can't look at everything as a negative. It's like, okay, I might ain't get this. Every party I go to, I leave out with about 3-4 numbers that want film or want shoots. Even the free ones, I might go do a free party here and there. But every time I leave, they say, "I love your work. How much you charge? Here go my business card." So you know, you just got to look at it from a different angle and don't hold on to the past because you'll never get through to the future. I tell life if it's negative, you know, if it's some positive things, then yeah. But if you went through some janky promoters or anything or a loss, like don't
I
keep
learned.
reminiscing on it. Don't keep bringing it up. Don't talk about it, you know, because that just brings it back. That
That's
same energy,
reliving
that
the
same
negative.
feeling. Yeah, you got to relive it. So try to talk
Yeah.
about what's
See, I
coming.
learned,
You know,
I learned what free shows can do for me from playing Guitar Hero. If you do the stretch with it, it'll say, "Do you want to play this show? It's free. You make no money, but you'll gain so many fans." And that free
But they
shows are
giving
very
you a choice.
important.
That's
yeah.
good because you given a choice. Not it's different when you have a choice. Because a lot of times people don't know. I would do stuff, yeah, just because, like Molly said, because you love it. But when you don't give a person a choice, or you lie to them, and it's a yoke, that's different. It feels different to me. That's all I'm saying.
It definitely, for all intents and purposes, I'm with Molly. I tell my work, what I do is I can't take it back. Once I do the show, it's out there, right?
Right.
Now my show, I'm gonna take that show and I'm gonna put it in Cedric the Entertainer's manager's hand, and he gonna look at that and say, "Oh, I like Funny Man Green. I want him to come perform for me." He calls Funny Man Green, right? Gets a hold of him. Funny Man Green gets a $10,000 job. He got that now, and then on top of that, he's still fighting me about the $50 that he owes me, right? Or that I owe him. Let's just put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
The manager calls me up and says, "So what do you think about Funny Man Green? You know, what do you think? Should I put him on my show? Do you think, I've never seen him before. What do you think?" Now I'm like, "Oh no, because if you forget to pay him $50, he gonna wreck your whole life." Like, so no, I'm not, no, not, nope, I wouldn't do
That
that if
sounds
I was
like
you. So the thing is, it's like you have to hedge your bets. I know it's important to get paid for what their word had said, but a lot of things happen. People lie all the time. It's not new. I think what Molly is saying is don't throw the what is it, the baby out with the bathwater.
Yep.
No, it is follow through with your word, but if something prevents you from doing it, the person who feels slighted, like Althea, instead of throwing everything out, like I would walk in there and, like Molly, come out with 4 phone numbers for 4 other jobs.
Yeah, it
And
just kind
yes,
of sounds kind of sideways. Like if somebody calls and says, "Hey, how is this person?" and you're like, "Well, I mean, they did a performance, the people laughed, but they got real mad when I didn't pay them."
no, what you say is, in my head, this person is not logical. You can't talk to them. All they're going to do is sit on the fact that you said you were going to do something, and no matter what happened, they're not going to give or take. In Althea's case, if he had to talk to her, she would have given and taken. But he just disappeared. So, like you, Destiny, if you stand on your word and you're like, okay, I heard everything you're going to say, but you still said you're going to pay me $50, I'm going to deal with that. I'm not going to tell my friends, yeah, that's a logical person to deal with, because I know that things in this world happen. And if that's your reaction to it, I don't want to subject my friends to it. No, absolutely not. So you have to think what you're doing. You're showing them, right? You're bobbing your head and you're showing them, but you're also showing the world how you react in those situations. And if you're that person who doesn't want to be, or is hard to work with, you're going to find your opportunities are lesser and lesser and lesser. So just take some of the things that happened to me. I can't just be like, well, I'm never going to work with that person again because they did this to me. And then a $10 million opportunity comes up. Am I going to stand on my principle? No, I'm just going to be careful and I'm going to go ahead and go through with it. Just don't throw everything out because they owe you $50.
Only thing I know is that lawnmower example was a bad idea. And I kind of knew it. I kind of knew it when I started talking. But I was like, hold up.
I'm trying.
I was like, hold up. That don't make sense. But I was just
your example is more like if you like had to mow somebody's lawn and you go there and you mow their lawn, and they decide not to pay you.
But then Molly got me. He said, so you're supposed to get paid for an unfinished job. I was like, no.
Like, okay, that sounded so reasonable. But as you talk about things, like I told Phil, the 30 people, 40 people that came to the comedy face-off, added to the 30 people that came out to doing it in DC Freedom Funny Fest, put them all together and everybody gets paid. Right?
Right.
Like, work together. Like, even if everything doesn't go right, find a way to work with it. And Althea, shout out to you because you made that trip, and I wish y'all would have took more pictures, but that's okay. It's all right.
It still comes down to, if we use Funny Man's example, if I mowed a lawn for an understand price, and the person whose lawn I mowed, who I did the work for, doesn't pay me, I'm not gonna mow their lawn again. As simple as that.
And if you see, and when you say that kind of thing, even if you never mowed my lawn again, if somebody drove by my house and said, you know what, your lawn is done great, who did your lawn? I'd be like, Destiny. Because simply, if I can't pay you, I'm not going to stop other people from paying you either. So all in all, networking is given and taken with people that you want to continue to do business with. If it's a one-off, that's a transaction. Keep that to places, that have refunds and receipts. Yeah, there they are. Look at the gang. The gang's all there. Lee and Ricky and Phil and LA Josh Preston, Emmanuel Soto and Kiki. And they work together to pull off a show that nobody got paid on, but the organization, shout out to Streetline, they collected $250. So shout out to them for, everybody pulling together, even though I was supposed to pay Althea. But I feel
No,
understood.
I didn't. Our show got canceled. We didn't do our show. They changed. See, that's the difference. We have a conversation. The dynamic of everything changed. You was like, okay, we're gonna do benefit. This the free show. This and that. I'm like, okay. That's the when you talk to people and when they still agree, you have the understanding. But
so word out to all the promoters out there all over the land. Talk to them. They understand more than you think. Don't just run away. Don't just disrespect them as
Communication is important.
Yes, Molly know how it goes sometimes. Molly gave a big show, right? And his MCs and stuff didn't host. I was at the show as the vendor. I said, you know what, Molly, you need me to get on the mic? And he looked at me, he said, could you? I'm like, say less. It's just, you know, when you friends and you network, you pitch in and that's what you do for each other. Like, you know, and every time I got a good camera stuff, I'm not gonna put Molly on nothing jinky. If the people say, oh, I need a good photographer, I know Molly's good, I'm gonna refer them. But if these people are jinky, I'm not gonna throw Molly on them. I'm like, I don't know nobody.
Yeah, my boy, and that was my friend who canceled on me. Well, I don't know what happened. He probably got drunk, and I was looking for him to host. But it was cool. It'd have been a good look for him, because I don't know how many people was in there, but it was a lot. And he didn't sell one ticket. He didn't sell a ticket, ain't promote anything. Most of the people who really came out really ain't sell a ticket. That was mostly people I knew. I was out here grinding. I only had a week time to do it. So I know what work it take. It's just that, a lot of people, they want to get paid, but they don't really want to put no work in. And I'm willing to pay everybody. I want everybody to get paid, but I be like, I need help to make money. Like, don't have me the only one out here selling all the tickets. And then when the crowd and everything get here, everybody looking to get paid, but ain't one person like my cousin coming, my aunt, somebody, like, it just don't be. So when I used to throw shows, the comedy shows, before I start throwing them now, I used to do ticket sales. And we used to sell tickets for $20, and the comedian got like $5 off a ticket. And whoever sold the most tickets went last, and they got paid. So I had this one guy, he wasn't funny, but he always went last because he always sold the most tickets. And that was my man, Lil Hot Dog. He'd go out there and walk the streets. But he had about 40 people in there. And I had to break bread with him. And a lot of the comedians mad because they was funnier than him. But I'm like, he might not be funny, but he know how to put that work, and he going out here selling. He not promoted. So if y'all had the same work ethic as him, y'all be rich right now. So it's just like a lot of people just want to show up. Like, yeah, I'm funny. Like they Kevin Hart or Cat Williams. When you got Kevin Hart and Cat Williams on the show, they sell it so. I ain't gotta even. I don't need them to be out here. They gonna sell it so. But when people don't know you, I need you to help me get out here. Like, we can record you going out here talking to the people. Let the people get to know who you are. But they just want to show up, get paid. I'm like, I ain't with that. And I respect it. I just don't pay those comedians. I be like, oh, you don't sell tickets, cool. I can't work with you. You don't promote and all that. We had Mike Brooks. He didn't promote one time. It's like, we can't never get him again. He might be funny to some people. I don't care. He wasn't willing to promote. We just wanted to put money in his pocket. All the people who came out was the people we got to come out. His name wasn't big enough just to bring people out. So some people be feeling themselves.
Right. And it's all about like taking the negatives, because comedy is fun. It's not supposed to be fun. It is. Right? Like, it takes a lot of work to suck the fun out of funny. Okay. So I say to everybody who are in on these shenanigans and shows and stuff like that, open yourself up to not only be on the show, but work with the show. I don't show up if you just asking me to come. If you're just like, oh yeah, Brenda, can you come to my show to support me? No, I can't. But what I can do is I can become a part of your show and support the show in its entirety, so that everybody on the show gets some. You know what I mean? Like, I don't, one person in particular, I don't there's nothing I can do with that. But a lot of people together, that's what I'm doing. And if I'm a part of it, yes, I'm coming. But if I'm not, then no, I'm going to stay at home. My time is worth more than a butt warmer. If that's all you want me to do is come stand there, that's no, we're not doing that. If I ask you, Molly, to come out, you, Destiny, you, Funny Man Green, I'm not going to ask you to come all the way to where I am just for you to stand there.
I mean, going a far distance, that's understandable.
Yeah.
Like driving an hour or more just to sit in a crowd, I could see that. But down here, if they've got big shows going on, you're more likely to land yourself on the next show if you show up to support. Most of the shows, I'm 8 minutes from downtown, 15 minutes from most other performances that happen. So if I was able, which I'm more able now, so I will be on more. I'm on more shows now, since I've been putting myself out there more and participating and being more supportive of the individuals that are around my particular vicinity. Now I don't go 3 out. Like there was a great show, great lineup and everything that was 3 hours away. That's too far for me to drive to be supportive. I'll be on Facebook. Oh, I'm sure y'all did great and da. So I could see not going like way out of your way to sit in a crowd, but down here we got to be supportive of the mics and order land on the big mics. What's that? Is that Shades of Blue? Mine will be here Wednesday.
Ooh, sorry, excuse me about that supportive thing. And at the beginning of my career, I was out at everywhere. I even got sick and missed my own show, Destiny. Okay, December 4th,
What?
2023, Sauce in the City had to do Sauce in the City by themselves because Brenda was at home about to die. So therefore, again, risking my life and limb and health and all that stuff to come out, so that you can put me on the next show. We've done that. And I encourage those who still need to do that. But for me, yeah, I want to help you build. If I'm spending my time with you, I want to help it get better. Whatever it is, I want it to get better. And Funny Man Green, we're going to talk some later because they kind of really have taken a liking to you. And so, therefore, there are things for people to do and come together. Like, I wouldn't be on this show every day if Molly and them made me sit in the audience.
We want to do that to you.
Right? Thank you, Molly. Thank you, Althea.
I just want everybody to
Yes.
get paid. Want everybody to get paid. So I just want everybody to get paid, and understand that it's a ladder. A lot of people be always at the bottom. So it'd be hard to look up. So they don't understand what the promoters do to actually get them events and actually get the space and how much they gotta pay, and they don't understand the owner of the club who actually charging the promoters. They gotta pay for that property, every month. So money gotta constantly come in. So you're gonna have the owners, personal promoters like, hey, we need money. Y'all ain't bringing enough in. Then the promoter's gonna be pressing everybody else out. Oh, we ain't really making enough. I need y'all to sell tickets. So it travels down. We understand when you get with the owners that we've been working with. And I actually met the owner at the spot with Phil and them as well. They willing to work with you. So you can actually see what's at the top of the ladder. And when you got owners like that, that's when it's time to really work. So we need people from the bottom and the top to really work together. But if money will fuse you, that's going to be hard. We need people to see the bigger vision and understand that at the end of the day, we all going to get money. That's going to be the easy part right now is about building the show. Ain't nobody going to pay to see anything if it ain't nothing really to watch. So right now, we got to stop playing this tug of war. What we want to do, who want to get paid, and understand it's going to take all of us to actually make this thing happen. It's like watching the credit of a movie. Anytime you see a movie, yeah, you see a lot of names show up at the end. That would make that one movie possible, and they all get paid. And that movie make millions of dollars. But it still took all of them people to make that thing happen. So the less people in the credits, most time the less money that movie make. And that's just real. So I'm just saying, the more of us work together, the more money we can make. We just gotta just stop focusing all about making money right now. A little $50 to $100. We gonna get there.
Yeah, I don't think the complaint was I need the money. We'll all
Oh
do a
yeah.
free show. The complaint is that he said he was going to do it and he didn't.
Oh
We'll
no,
Yeah.
all
I
do a
ain't
free
thinking
show, and I
about
And
that
don't
no
mind
more.
that.
And actually, the complaint isn't even he said he was going to do it and he didn't. The complaint is he didn't do what he said he was going to do and he ran off.
Roasted.
and hid. Yeah,
Roasted.
yeah.
Peace out.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like a whole sentence there that caused her reaction. It's a combination of events. But again, I'm with the masses. It's like work together, people. My 30 and Molly and them 40, that was 70 people that could have bought tickets. Right? And then now you have a pot. And now you split the pot with everybody who worked on the show. If you worked on the show, you get paid from the show. That's how it goes.
Yep.
I don't get paid for the events that I don't do here in Vegas. So tonight, I'm going to go stand on the rooftop in 108-degree weather. And that's the one that I'm going to be a part of. So that's the one I get paid for. Tomorrow, when they do another show, I don't get paid for that one because I'm not working that one. Right? So just if everybody works together, there's money to be split together. And
Yeah.
watch out for the people that'll take the money and run because they are out there. They will be like, okay, I did all the work. I brought all the people. I did everything. So I'm going to pay you $50 and I'm going to take 44,000 and run.
Yep, and lie.
Yeah. There's a lot of money we can be saving. We just not working together. We all traveling from different places, Ubering here, Ubering there. When some of us live right close by, when we can just catch rides with each other. So it's a lot of ways we can, save money, and find ways to really work together that's outside of just working at the club. If one of us actually hurt and need $30 to pay a phone bill, if it's enough for us, we can just everybody cash out Brenda $5. No different than like watching a game show, like this real life. Like we gonna really be a team and really help each other. That's helping one another. Somebody might can't eat, one of the kids might need something. It's other ways we can help, like that's what I think though. We
When
gonna be
we
a family.
Coming
when they
together.
come to Vegas, we have
Mhm.
what's I invented called the parachute package. And the parachute package is where I buy a block of hotel rooms and I put 2 comedians in each hotel room. And then we like 2 or 3 of them will rent a car and they will help everybody get to the events and everybody to get back and forth. 2 or 3 of them rent a car and I have a rental car myself. So we can all move around as a bunch of people, right? And help each other. When Shaquan was coming to DC, Phil reached out and so did Lee and said, you guys can stay with, or you can stay with me while you're here. Destiny said, hey, if you're ever in Alabama, I got an extra room. That is helping each other out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And if you do the same thing in comedy shows, Destiny, you do your best. Molly, you do your best. Althea, your best. Bunny Man Green, your best, my best. That's 5 bestesses. And we raised $60 in doing that. With the people on the screen, we raised $60 for y'all to play with tomorrow.
My bad.
And I
gotta
know that.
go.
Okay.
I done got. Oh, while we was on the line on the show, I got it. I may have an upcoming update. They asked me my availability, my calendar, so I think I got a booking. Yay! I got
Yay! You got a book what? What did you get?
Booking.
You got a booking
to do a show. I gotta check. I gotta see though, because I don't like to I
Put
gotta
it out
stay
there until you
that that's
see.
open. That I'm open that day. Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Yep, congratulations.
Keep it going, Riri.
Yes.
Keep it rolling. And I will see y'all tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the rematch. Live on Facebook, Roku, and YouTube. They coming back for it. We'll see how it turns out.
Yes.
Yes, $5. Support your favorites. Althea, always known to, have the right answer and and be able to stay in the game. Destiny. I got to keep her hands above the stream. You got to sit up and put all 10 fingers above the stream. And then David.
And funny man, if you
I'm not a cheater.
tell everybody you
Got
cheat.
baby girl right there. Be giving her that. Yeah, baby girl
No.
be giving her answer. She be holding the tablet up.
She's definitely not a cheater, but she's a loophole finder. So if you're out there and you definitely